Magnetize! Magnetize!
So, they've gone on the ventilation shaft.
Oh.
Put my hair down just for Kerner.
One, they say 2 Jedi Knights, while neither of them are Jedi Knights. One's a Master and one's a Padawan.
Interesting.
I'm pissed!
Like they're loose with those terms every once in a while.
No, and that's very...
Except for when it comes to Anakin.
Like
Picky
people
of me.
call their master even though they're not technically a Jedi master.
But he is a master, isn't he?
Qui-Gon is, but I'm saying like when Anakin, I don't know, when Anakin starts training with Obi-Wan just became a knight, but he still calls him master.
That's because it's his master.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So
Is Obi-Wan still just a Jedi Master in episode 2? Or I'm sorry, Jedi Knight?
I think so. But I don't know. You have to ask George.
Gotta ask twice.
Gotta ask Shinobi, you probably know.
Shinobi. That reminds me of Boboli. You guys ever eat Boboli pizza? It's
Yeah.
you can just buy it like it's already it's just a crust. You can buy just a baked crust and then you add whatever shit you want.
But why does Shinobi remind you of that?
Shinobi, Boboli, it's all the same word. Same letters. Same
Reminds
guy.
me of that Lost Prophet song, Shinobi versus Dragon Ninja.
I only know the train song because you played it over and over until my eyes bled.
Dude, I listened to that song a million times. All right, let's ready.
Let me click record.
Start recording, please.
I've been.
That looked like you just opened your mouth and put a sound effect of a burp in. That's funny as fuck.
So we have no beer for this one, do we?
I do, but you're not drinking.
We got 1 week left. Next episode we'll be drinking.
I got one.
I have 2 different ones, actually. Actually, thanks for reminding me.
I got a whole bag.
My other one's in the fridge.
I've got a whole bag. Showed up with a garbage bag full of beer, so better get ready.
It's a giant brown paper bag.
I'm trying to open up those notes so I can see them. Oh, I don't forget.
I have a decent topic that will probably be the main thing.
Your topics are terrible. That's not going to happen.
I thought of something really random, but I'm gonna wait to bring it up.
Yeah, don't prep us. Make it a surprise. Come on. I'm amazed at how much CPU Google Chrome takes. Pissing me off.
Magnetize.
Love that shit.
I'm trying to think of what we can quote that's kind of like that. Not magnetized, but standardized. What kind of beer is it? IPA.
Standardized testing. All right, I'll be right back.
Ooh, bow, bow, ba, ba, bow, bow, ba, ba, ba.
Hey, should we pick something that is false that we have to try to convince him of throughout the episode?
Something like ridiculous.
Yeah, like a line in the Phantom Menace that Darth Maul never actually said, but we have to convince him that he said something. Or some like obscure thing that he'll swear is not true.
Like when Maul says, I will take them myself.
Yeah.
Trying to think of when he would say that. On Naboo when he's about to attack Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. I'll take them myself.
Or we can convince him that Anakin and Grievous faced each other in the Clone Wars, even though they specifically never did.
We can make him think that Asajj Ventress was a Jedi at one point. A fallen Jedi. No, she wasn't.
Yes, she was.
No, she wasn't.
Yes, she was.
In what?
in the Clone Wars. Dude, she used to be a Jedi. Her master died, and that's why she turned to the dark side.
Damn globalists.
What? No.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Kerner. There will be.
I've never seen that episode.
Yeah, dude. That's how her and Quinlan knew each other. Also,
I didn't know her and Quinlan knew each other.
Talking
I
about
must have
Asajj?
done something big.
they end up like lovers.
Yeah, that's that book. This one.
Dark Disciple.
Oh, okay.
The one that
But
we
yeah, she
started
was-
and didn't finish.
She was found as a little kid. She like defended one of her. She like got sent away from Dathomir, and then she killed someone that was trying to kill her, or that had killed her like new guardian. And the Jedi saw her do that, and this Jedi like took her in and trained her. And then when her Jedi master fell, that's when she like freaked the fuck out.
That blows my mind.
Yeah,
I don't know. Do you like that? That's
I
kind
do.
of a weird-
I like the way they did it, because they did it in the show after Dooku had tried to kill her. And so it was like her redemption when she finally decides to become a Night Sister. And then once all the Night Sisters die, then she's like on her own. And then remember, she ends up having to help Obi-Wan.
She low-key helps out everybody like, at some point.
Wait till you see, I'm just gonna show you real quick how corny she looked when she was a Jedi. She looks like a Hot Topic girl.
She kind of always looks like a Hot Topic girl.
I'm not.
Like that was her as a little kid.
What is?
Huh?
And that's just the female version of Maul's species, right?
Yeah, Night Sister.
Oh, she looks fine.
She's got the little like one half of her head shaved with like a comb over.
Yeah, it was the style at the time.
I need to prevent this from going full screen when somebody shares.
That was pretty funny though. You tried to make that up and it was real.
I didn't know that. I didn't know it. Yeah. That's why you're here.
There we go. Boom. Okay, I'm ready to roll whenever.
Hold on
Me
1 second. I'm trying to pop
too.
out this thing.
Yeah, where's the chat?
Kerner just said Asajj is nasty. Kerner, you gotta get out of here.
Eat a sandwich. Jesus Christ.
Oh man, it's too much. I can't do it. It's too much.
Paul Melton has subscribed to the Rogue Squadron podcast.
The fuck took you so long?
I had to take a picture. I took a screenshot of it, so I had to unsubscribe so the subscribe button would show up.
Oh, I see. I've done that before. To our podcast.
By the way, what the fuck's the... Well, I'll ask you later. The login for Patreon. Did you change it?
Yeah, you should probably give that out while you're live.
Yeah, everybody,
By the way,
get your pens ready.
pens.
I'm actually gonna move this around.
People still use pens? Get out your keyboards.
Zoom needs like a built-in white balance thing.
I think it's based on the webcam itself.
Well, OBS has one.
Because OBS is legit. All right. Oh, you're running.
Do I look foggy?
It's just the LA air, bro.
Yeah.
There you go.
You need to get yourself a light sun.
I do. I have that.
Or a bird flu mask.
Or both.
Have you felt it?
Why
I
not
like it.
both?
Hello, what have we here?
You guys are so funny.
Hello.
Holy shit. It ain't C3 penis face and R2 dickhead.
Hello there.
Looking? Found someone you have, I would say.
May the force be with us. Fucking A.
Good day, Galaxy Rogue Squadron podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Mopar.
My name is Commander Cody.
We have Mr. Jacob Weiss with us. You can say hi.
I need a screenshot of your face before you said that. What?
Hi.
What? We're on the show? Is what? There's a camera? What's
here.
going on?
I thought it was the voices again in my head.
Welcome, Weiss, aka Little Drangus.
Thank you for having me.
aka Jacob.
Not Jake. Hashtag not Jake.
Hashtag not
Hashtag
Jake.
no.
Not Jake.
What up, though? Matthew Williamson's with us live, and also Lord Kerner.
Lord
Thank you guys
Kerner.
for tuning in.
Yeah.
What is this? 156.
156, you know it.
So it's just too many.
We're trudging along,
Trudging,
as you like to say.
We only have three or four words in our vocabulary.
Trudging and
Trudging.
like we said.
We're diving in. We got to dive into this shit.
Pissed and like we said. It's pretty much all we say.
Like we said, we were trudging through. But I'm pissed.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, awesome. We're gonna be getting into a lot of shit. I do have, now that we have Mr. Weiss with us, I have a big question that I want to get into, but we'll get into that a little later.
Okay.
You guys have something to drink?
I do.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is. I got a
what?
I got a special surprise that I'll talk more about next week. But part of that surprise included this. It is from Odd 13 Brewing, and it's called the Double 13. Specifically 13 with a D. I don't know why it says that.
13.
It's a double IPA, not your standard IPA. 8.5%. Double 13 is a hazy double IPA intensely hopped with Centennial and Mosaic.
13 makes me think of Mitch Hedberg. 13 is a very unlucky number. So should the letter B be, because it's a scrunched together 13. What's your name? Bob. Get the fuck away.
The best. And then I also have another one from Knee Deep called Breaking Bud. I think we've had this before. Maybe not on the show. I think maybe like Alex brought this over at some point. But I have this too. So if I run out, I'm going to start sipping on this then.
Awesome.
Yeah. Weiss, what are you drinking, man?
I have Deschutes.
You look confused.
Fresh squeezed IPA. I know
Perplexed.
what it
Weiss,
is.
Come
I have
on,
it all
man.
day.
Come on. You need a coffee. What have you been doing all afternoon? How many beers deep are you?
Playing games. Like two? Yeah, just two.
Oh, thank God.
Two
Jacob
six-packs?
Weiss just subscribed live to the Roast Watching podcast.
Finally, so you can see the chat stream.
I did it just so you guys would say my name again.
Oh, my God. Jacob Weiss over here. Hello, fellas. Mr. Mike Mann, who's
Sup?
local to Columbus.
Sup, bro? Thanks for joining.
What's up?
What went on this weekend? You guys do anything?
BEERFEST.
What happened?
For the first time ever. So Columbus Beer Fest, that happens twice a year. And for whatever reason, we always end up being out of town or we have something else and I can never go. But I finally got to go yesterday and it was glorious. All the beer you could ever drink for a very low fee of like $60.
What?
Yeah.
That's nice.
It was amazing. And I got mine like late, like the day of. Pre-sale tickets were like $45. But basically you just go in, you get 25 drink tickets. But most of the time when you get a beer, they don't really take your ticket. So you pretty much just as much as you can drink, and you get like a little 6-ounce little mini mug, and you just walk around into the different brewery tents and try their beers.
Oh, did they have
beautiful.
the pretzels to unflavor your eyes, your palate?
I was confused. They weren't selling them, but a bunch of people had like pretzel necklaces, and we were like, "Where'd you buy those? Like, can I get one of those?" Like, "Oh, you have to bring them." It's like I would never think to bring a necklace made of pretzels and shit to a beer convention, but apparently that's the thing.
BYOPB, bring your own pretzel breakfast. What the fuck?
So apparently that's a thing. Just so you know, to clear your palate between beers and everything. But it was okay. They wash your mug out before they pour, so it was good. I had a few interesting things like, you know, day shoots we get, but there was a few beers that they only had there that aren't actually like sold in Ohio. So the Fruit Fight Hazy IPA was awesome. I discovered a new brewery called Taft's from Cincinnati. Had their Oktoberfest,
Taft,
was good.
Like President Taft?
Yeah, and he's actually like on the fucking logo and shit.
Yeah, because
That's the fat one, right?
Yeah, the fat one that died in his bathtub. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a new one. There's a new
Hashtag goals.
one. Hashtag dying drunk in your bathtub as a president.
Yeah, with a ham sandwich and everything.
Has to be a ham sandwich. If it's
Yeah,
turkey,
soggy
then you
bagel.
failed at life. Fatheads had a new one called Abusive. IBU Abusive. It's a double, but it was actually really, really fucking smooth for being a double IPA. Some other ones from Jackie O's, et cetera, et cetera. Just try to get a variety. Try not to have the ones that I always have. And then a new one from Grove City Brewing Company, which I didn't even know existed. So I'm going to be checking them out more regularly now. The Wiggy was a white IPA. Some highlights. I forgot to check in some, but I probably had like 12 different styles. It was good. It's fun shit.
Noise.
So now we have to make that like a regular thing. Like It happens in the summer and in the winter, so we definitely need to go in the wintertime.
Yeah, we have a big one out here, but I haven't been to it yet. They like take over the whole like fairgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to go to that next year.
Yeah, that's kind of what they did here. It was at the Express Live, the outdoor concert pavilion that we have here. And it was inside where I saw BT Man last week. And it was outside in like the lawn area. And then there was a whole parking lot area that they blocked off. And there was tents there too. Like it took over. It was fucking huge.
Did they have any games?
I don't think so.
Like, you know, like bow and arrows or anything like that?
Or Contra.
I don't think you want drunk people shooting bows and arrows in an open lawn area. That might be
Have
a bad
you seen
idea.
With beer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You get a bullseye, you get a free beer. No games that I saw. There was a silent disco. Have you heard of this before?
Why?
Yeah.
I had
No.
never heard of it until now.
It's
just-
really weird.
It is really weird. So you get Bluetooth headphones, and there's like 3 settings, and there's a DJ mixing 3 different styles of music, and everybody's like in this little area and dancing and everything, but there's no speakers. It's all through your headphones.
So it's really funny if you don't have headphones and
Yeah,
you're
and
just
you're
watching
watching them, and people are just like fucking dancing around like this, and it's completely silent.
Just like KOTOR, where they're just stripping to like.
in the background. too, yeah.
Exactly like that. Yeah.
You can't hear the music because you're in the next room, but you can still see them behind you, like dancing with their swords.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like every time when you leave the room in KOTOR, like the Wookiee's just standing behind you, waiting for you to walk in the room.
It was fun though.
Dude, I was just watching Power Rangers, and the Green Ranger with his fucking dragon flute.
Dragon
it is
shit.
blatantly a trumpet sound.
Wait,
it makes
really?
me so mad.
I haven't heard or seen any of that in a long time.
It's just like, da-da-da-da-da. Like, what the fuck is happening right now? Why would you make it a trumpet?
People,
Oh my
they were
God.
all hammered.
We were just watching it because it was so cringy, and the voiceovers, like they must have saved a lot of money from just reusing film, because the only thing they really had to redo is the actual actors, like in Angel Grove, like walking around. Because when they're suited up, it's clearly not them.
Yeah, because wasn't it originally like a Japanese show? They like kind of
Yeah.
recut it. Yeah.
So pretty much all of the Zord fights, all of the suited Power Ranger fights, all of the evil villain like footage, that is all already there. So they just had to do the Angel Grove teenager parts. 'Cause everything else, there's no faces in it.
It's kind of obvious.
It's terribly obvious.
It's hilarious, man.
No, it's awesome. And we were talking earlier, probably 4 months ago,
Like we
about
said.
the eyeball
Last
villains.
Yeah.
All the crazy villains. The one that was in the episode today was a stoplight turtle. He was a big like turtle demon thing, and he had a stoplight coming out of the
thing
thing's
is
back.
so bad.
Oh,
It's-
I thought he was just happened to be under a stoplight in that picture.
No, it's part of him.
That's why, yeah.
Damn,
I'm
why
not-
wasn't he in the game? That would have been great.
Yeah, well, if you guys could see that. The stoplight turtle. That is, it's the post is in the fucking back of the, what?
I knew it looked goofy when you sent that in the group chat, but it literally looked like that was just part of the street.
Yeah, it looks like he's in an
And
intersection.
knowing that it's like stemming out of his shell off his back is so ridiculous.
Crazy.
They have the dumbest shit ever on that show.
That's why it's so great. It's so, see, the cringy thing is, even for the 90s, like all the Zord fights are filmed like a 60s Godzilla film, where it's blatantly a guy in a suit
Right.
stomping on a train set.
Yeah, like little
why-
tiny villages, toy village and stuff.
It's 1992. Like, we have something better than this. Like, Jurassic Park is right around the fucking corner, and there's dinosaurs running around.
Not for
You
a
can't get anywhere near
Nickelodeon
that?
show. Not for a Nickelodeon show.
I understand.
or it wasn't even Nick, whatever it was. But yeah, they couldn't do that.
Yeah. So I was just, we watched one full episode, and Trailer Park Turtle fucking came out of the woodworks, and I couldn't.
Speaking of
Man.
special effects and budget for TV shows, this is one thing that I wanted to bring up is they announced that Jon Favreau's new Star Wars series is getting a budget of $10 million
For 10 episodes, yeah.
for 10 episodes, which is $1 million an episode. So for a TV show, that's pretty fucking huge. It's like Game of Thrones status. So I think we won't have to worry about terrible Power Rangers
How long are they
effects.
supposed to be? 1 hour?
Hopefully. I don't know. It's Disney's new streaming service, so it's not, I don't know, like Netflix shows are always like 50 minutes. HBO's like usually 55 minutes. I don't know.
It'll
we'll
probably
see.
be like right around there, yeah. Because I think most of the direct-to-stream stuff ends up cutting right around like 55.
I hope they're like
So
an hour and a
that's
half each.
$16,666 per minute of an episode.
I've never calculated things per minute.
There's numbers. They do that for you. Awesome. What, Mr. Weiss, what did you do this weekend?
I watched.
Oh, wait. Sorry to interrupt. Mike Mann just said 100 million for 10 episodes.
Yeah,
Not 10 million.
10.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
10 million.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking as I said that it was kind of a lower budget. 10 million per episode. My bad.
Because that's right around what Game of Thrones is at. I think that's what Rome was for HBO.
Is that good? Have you watched that?
What, Rome?
Okay. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I have the DVD box set.
I remember Butterclone always watched that in
It's
when we
so
lived together
good.
in college. Yeah.
That actually ties into what I did this weekend because I watched Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and it's the same guy in it.
I need to watch that too.
See, that stuff, it takes me, that's what Butterclone's into, is a lot of Roman shit. But I do like that, but there's a lot of politics that come along with the Roman culture that I can't stand. It's just like, why are we sitting in a circle 3 episodes straight discussing shit where no one's wearing underwear? Why? That's the only thing that separates
so like
everything?
Attack of the Clones.
Yes. All right, so
We're just gonna walk down this quiet hallway, and then we're gonna walk down this quiet hallway, and then we're gonna sit
Attack
down
of the
and
Clones.
talk. I know.
yeah. I did pick up a book. I don't think I showed this on the.
It's not a Star
Is it
Wars
about
book. How
football?
dare you?
It looks like football.
No, it's called Clash of Eagles, and it's kind of a alternative history or historical fiction. Where what if the Roman Empire never fell, and they traveled to America? So
Ooh.
it's like the Roman Empire coming into an advanced Indian culture, and the Indians actually have higher like technology weapons at that point.
That sounds
So
sweet.
my mind's already fucked with just like trying to understand that plot, I guess, like the setting.
Yeah. That
Dude,
sounds
the
sweet.
Romans are gonna get fucked. Can't wait.
If you like those like alternate ones, there's this book called God is Dead. It's really good. It's kind of like the same thing.
I actually think I've read that.
Yeah, it's like society breaks up after they find out that God was real, but they found out after he died. And then there's like this like anthropologist culture versus like this historical culture, and they're like at war with each other. It's a really weird book. But
Maybe I didn't read that. That doesn't sound familiar.
maybe you're thinking of the Black Sabbath one.
God is dead. Man, I can't believe Ozzy isn't dead. You know how old that guy is? Jesus.
He's a
That's
savage.
yeah, he is a savage. And by the way, his world detour with his son, the fucking funniest thing I've ever seen.
The what is it?
Him and his son, Jack,
Yeah.
they tour together, like just like a travel show.
Oh.
And it's fucking hilarious.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely worthwhile. My dad watches that shit because he's just like, oh, Ozzy's talking. It's fucking funny. So, which I'm
Everything he
actually a part
says.
of that. I'm on that train too. Every time Ozzy just talks, cool.
It's funny, man. Prince of
I
Darkness.
actually squeezed my way on over to east side of Columbus.
I
weekend.
saw that.
So I went to the Me Nationals, biggest Mopar
I was gonna say
car
no
show.
one knows what you're talking about.
the Mopar Nationals, which I go every year with my family. But I didn't think I was going to go this year, and I was able to squeeze it out. Fun, rained,
Yeah.
very wet.
Yeah.
I
It
drove through
cleared up,
4
though.
goddamn thunderstorms. 4 thunderstorms on the way there.
Dude, it wasn't just raining, it was bad. Like it looked like
Yeah.
hail was falling. The raindrops were so huge that morning.
Yep.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it's normally about a 6.5 hour drive. It was almost like 7.5 hours, just because of oh my god, I can't stand going like 55 in a 70. Just get the fuck out of the way. If you can't handle it, get off the road. I can't handle it.
You need to find some new hyperspace lanes.
That's supposed to be the
You need
hyperspace lane.
L3 in the fucking navigation charts to get you around it all.
You're right. I gotta go through the mall. East side.
Nice. Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. Saw some pics,
So-
some fucking cars and shit. I
Oh,
actually
yeah.
something popped up on my Facebook from either the first or the second time that I went with you back in the day. It wasn't that great of a photo, but it was like 11 years ago or something. Craziness.
Oh yeah. 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Is that when I threw up in the tent?
And I slept in a mini car outside.
That's for another time.
That could be the whole episode in and of itself. But Jacob Weiss, what's up?
Do we know when? Sorry, I'm looking stuff up. Do we know when the Clone Wars season 7 comes out?
I don't think they said. I think it's supposed to be on the streaming service. So end of 2019.
And same with the TV show.
Yeah, Q4 2019 is the only info that we have at this time, I think.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized that it's rumored to be about Mandalorians, but then also season 7 will have the Siege of Mandalore. So that might be in part why they decided to bring back season 7 and finish it. It might literally lead like right into what the plot of the TV show is going to be about.
Well, the show takes place after 6, though, right?
Yeah, but if they finish Siege of Mandalore and then it shows kind of like where the Mandalorians are left at, and then we see them again in Rebels, and then it just kind of like reminds the fans of Mandalore and like how important Concord Dawn and all that stuff is.
Yeah, because what the hell were they doing throughout the Galactic Empire?
That's in Rebels.
That's right before. Well, sorry, not through the Galactic Empire. I mean, through the Civil War and everything. Like during the movie timeline. What are they doing?
Fucking off. I don't know.
Fucking around.
Going back to their ways, hunting shit down.
Recording podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
So are you guys going to rate your beers or what?
Yeah,
3,
this is a
I
2.
drink it every day.
What happened? Commander, what'd you say?
2.
2.
It's good, but it's a double. Not something that you can, drink casually every fucking day. But it's good.
3.
No, that day shoots is one of the most solid.
Yeah. And I say that because I really do drink it like every day.
Yeah, Fresh Squeeze is one of my favorites. Out of
Shoots is
Bend,
awesome.
Oregon, it is.
And I've never seen a tall boy of that before. That's cool.
Yeah, I've been drinking this and their Pacific Wonderland.
Nice.
Which specific one?
The Pacific Wonderland.
It's Wonderland. Wait, I don't think I've had that one. What is that?
It's I think it's one of their newer ones because I hadn't had it until about a month ago, and they're already out of it at our bottle shop. Pacific Wonderland. It is a lager.
A lot.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
not even gonna look it up. 'cause
Communication disruption can mean only one
crisp,
thing.
Refreshing.
So it's a lager.
Yeah, and it's probably crisp, light, and refreshing because that's usually.
Some
Your wife was
descriptions.
just hired by Day Shoots 20 minutes ago. So
There's some descriptions of beer that are just pointless.
Yeah,
This
they're like
beer
all the
is
same.
hoppy and carbonated.
it's wet,
Great,
drinkable.
thank you. That helps a lot.
So that's weird. It says it's a lager, but then it says that it's malt pilsner. I don't know.
Pilsner is a lager.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like they would say that on the bottle.
They were obviously hammered when they did it.
I'd actually like to look at that beer tree again, because there's so many different types of ales. But when we say there's only 2 types of beer, it's lager and ales.
Yeah.
I can only think of like Pilsner under lager.
Yeah. A lager and a pilsner.
Well, a Pilsner's a lager. A lager isn't a Pilsner, technically.
Yes, I guess, technically.
So what other beers are labeled under the lagering process?
I don't know. Look it up, man.
I'm trying.
Google
Lager.
versus Shinobi. Do it.
American Amber, Czech Pilsner, Bock, Doppelbock, German Pilsner.
Oh,
Oktoberfest,
Bocks are lagers.
American Pale Lager, Steam Beer. These are fake.
Well, amber can be an amber ale. It doesn't have to be.
An amber
American
lager.
malt liquor. So I guess a 32 of High Life would be a lager.
Yeah, well, yeah. Pretty much every cheap beer is going to be a lager.
I think it's about time to get our boy Alex next time back on the show
Next time.
to help tell us what the fuck's happening.
Yeah, that would be. Let me see. Beer chart.
Okay, styles. Pale lager, Helles, Pilsner, Marzen, Bock, Dunkel, Doppelbock, Schwarzbier.
Schwartz beer.
Yeah, your Schwartz is as big as mine.
Box, pale lagers, and dark lagers. Huh.
I don't like box very much. I think the only lager style I really like is the Pilsner.
Yeah, I wonder why though.
Because I don't like the other ones. They don't taste good.
Because the other one tastes like shit.
They don't taste like ass. That's why.
Double box. Interesting. I wouldn't have thought that box would be under a lager. I thought they would be an ale.
I agree.
Like I thought box were somewhere between like a porter and like a brown ale.
Brown. Moving along.
No, I always like looking at that stuff, looking at the chemistry or the taxometry.
Yeah, we need to have expert beer risers on. I think a little more frequently, just to tell us what the fuck is up.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
I know that it's cold and I like it.
Yep.
That guy who continued that sentence. I don't know anything. Never have.
Never done.
Are you guys playing anything? What do you? Jacob Weiss is a big gamer. What are you doing over here?
Black Ops.
Black Ops.
For
like
real?
The first one?
Single day, every day, team deathmatch, search and destroy, gun game, one in the chamber, sticks and stones.
Wait, the original one? What are you talking about?
Best game ever made. Best map design, best level design, best map movement, best gun tier system, best purchasing system, best ranking. Every time you get prestige, you reset and start over. That's leveling the game. That's how you go.
See, only because the most recent Call of Duty I played was Modern Warfare 3 since I caught it. But yeah, it is very similar, and I do really enjoy the maps in Modern Warfare 3, like the airport that you can shoot. Oh my god, that airport, I loved it all fucking day. Carbon, I loved it. The underground, loved it. Dude, there's so many good maps in that one.
We gotta hop on Black Ops and just do a private lobby, because I think there's enough of us that we can run full games without having to deal with like online lag or like hackers or anything like that. Like we could just play search and destroy with like 8 of us and go 4v4.
I'm down with that. Yeah.
We'll have
Something
to-
short, tactical.
We have to email the globalists, make sure they give us at least an hour.
No, we should try to set up like a maybe a once a month or twice a month thing where all of us can be online at the same time.
Yeah,
and do that kind of shit.
That game's so fun.
Can we set up our own like LAN? Is there a way to do that where you're not actually there? Where to be? Well, I guess it'd be your own server.
Well, they have private lobbies. Like
that
you can just invite all your friends and play, like you could play 1v1 online if you want to.
Shit.
Which they don't really do anymore. So that's one reason why I like that game. Is because like I'll play with people for a little bit, like in search and destroy, and they'll want to play like a 3v3, and so they'll just send like private invites. But the game's fun. The gun game's fun. Like all the wager match stuff.
Gun game it pisses me off so
Gun
much.
game is
There's always
a
that
blast.
one fucker that runs around knifing everybody because he's not good enough to shoot anybody. Yeah, you. I'll be one away from the end and I'll get knifed 10 times and be like, fuck that. I can't win now. Dude, I am so limited. So I'm not great at the game, but I'm decent. But as soon as I get to the snipers, that's where I'm fucked. I can't kill with snipers.
That's where you just put the muzzle in someone's back and pull the trigger. Like don't even try to just run up point blank and pull it.
Yeah.
Savages.
But then you knife me and I'm fucked again. Forever fucked.
Forever.
Yeah, I saw that you and I think Tommy Boy had signed on recently on Black Ops within the past year, so I know you have it.
You know, I think I sold it though, because I sold my 360. Yeah,
I mean, you
did
can get
have
it for
because
like
we played
50
gun
cents.
games. What's that?
Yeah.
You can get it for like 50 cents now.
Well, Modern Warfare 3 was still $30.
Digital,
Oh,
yeah.
Just get it at like GameStop or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of those backwards compatible games you have to get on the store. Some of them you don't. So if
This
you can,
one
if you
I did
can,
my disc.
yeah. So if you can get the disc, it's probably like $1 at GameStop.
But yeah, since I'm playing PUBG most of the time, like when I don't feel like playing like a long, like draining game, I'll just play Black Ops for like an hour or so, or even in between PUBG matches if I get like raged. I'll just remove
Which is probably
myself.
pretty regularly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
We've been Tommy Boy and I jumped on Overwatch last weekend. It's still a fun game. I enjoy it. It's so simple, but you can get enraged very quickly when you play up against a good team because there's nothing you can do. Once you find a good team that everybody's mastered their own character, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
I'm not that good. I can't. That's all I'll say because I've got like my 3 characters that are my go-tos. Outside of that, I'm still experimenting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't played shit since I got back from that conference. I need to dive back in. I was hoping to have time today, but I ran out of time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
I've been playing Pokemon.
I haven't played anything. Played Pokemon today, though.
Well, I haven't been playing my Xbox is what I meant, because that's usually all I play.
Haunt.
I have Haunted now. No.
Who are you gonna replace when you need Fly? That's my question. Because I looked at your lineup. It's looking pretty good. But you're gonna need a flying Pokemon.
That's a good question, and I was actually pretty disappointed in how Growlithe is not that good. I'm a big fan of the actual type of Pokemon itself, but he was not that great, and I was kind of annoyed about it.
You got to get Bite. Bite's strong.
He came with Bite, but
Super Bite.
So my lineup as of today is I started with Bulbasaur, so now I have Venusaur, Primeape, Haunter, Dugtrio, Jolteon, and Growlithe. And I think I'm going to swap Growlithe out with a water Pokemon instead.
Get rid of Jolteon.
Jolteon's been fucking killing it, though.
Yeah, but you'll be able to use like an Eevee Evolution or a Legendary at some point.
I might swap Primeape out for a flying Pokemon. Because you were right, I will need Fly at some point.
I don't know, that fighting, because he's fighting type, right?
Yeah.
That's going to kind of be important when you get into the gyms.
When I get into the gyms.
Yeah, I feel like if you always have to have like I don't want to call them a generic Pokemon because they're fighting, but like someone like a Machamp or a Hitmonlee or, one of those are kind of bland that is just like a physical beat the shit out of someone Pokemon.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, I like Primeape. He's my second one that I started using, so he's been serving me well over the past few hours that I've been playing. But yeah, I don't know. Growlithe did not do it for me. I think I'm just gonna ditch the fire element altogether because there's more elements than there are. You can only hold 6 Pokemon, and there's more than 6 types.
Right.
So you have to cut a few of those out at some point.
Do Zubats fly?
I don't know if they can learn Fly. That's a good question. They are considered flying type, like flying and poison, but I don't know if they can learn the move Fly. Because
that'd be cool if you had a Golbat, or what is it?
Golbat? Zubat and Golbat? Yeah.
That didn't sound right, Golbat. By the way, Goldberg from Mighty Ducks, did you see him recently? Oh, no.
What?
The actor, yeah. He looks like a murderer, and he was found... it looks like, yeah.
How did we get from Pokemon to Goldberg?
Because I went from Golbat to Goldberg. But, there was recent information about the actor who played him in Mighty Ducks.
That's him?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
Dude. I don't know if anybody watches Shameless, but he looks like the drunk professor in Shameless.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's him?
In the worst way possible. Yeah.
My. I don't want to laugh. That's unfortunate, but...
Yeah, it's like everything that could have gone wrong has, and that's how he ended up.
I'm going to throw this up on Mopar's screen really quick.
Yeah, it is very unfortunate, but that's what reminds me. He does not look good.
It doesn't even look like the same human being.
No, it looks like a grandfather.
Like a 60-year-old homeless person.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That's what happens, man. It's crazy how many kid actors that turn out to be just terrible.
His name is Sean Weiss.
I don't think that's real, guys.
Weiss, what is your cousin doing?
That looks so fake. Someone do the math.
Yeah, but it's on a Fox thing. It's not like it's on The Onion or some shit.
Yeah, but Fox is fake news, so
everything's fake news. Let's be real about it.
Oh, I will. Let me find him. Let me text him.
I think it's clear now that anyone with the last name Weiss is a menace to society.
Down for a hockey game? Question mark. Can't. I'm in jail.
Oh, dude, that's crazy. How did we get from Pokemon to the Mighty Ducks?
I already because Jacob Weiss's haircut remind me of that story.
How did we get from Pokemon to Mighty Ducks?
I don't remember either.
I have one more thing to say about Pokemon. Thanks to Zale in the group chat for saying to get the emulator on your phone. So much better. I love the feeling of having like an actual Game Boy in my hand, like playing the legit game. Mm-hmm. But I've played that game so many times. There's so many things that you want to just skip through or like fast forward through. And having the emulator just makes it so easy. Just bust it out, start, fast forward, and zip through everything like 5 times faster. It's so much nicer.
That's cool that you're able to get that on Apple now. Yeah, because I used to have that a few years ago. But it would automatically make me run. So I didn't have to walk through everything.
Yeah.
There was an automatic run button that obviously cuts a lot of your time down between cities and stuff. But
yeah, for a while you had to jailbreak the iPhone so that would let you install like third-party apps and everything.
Change the date.
But now they whatever one of the new updates is in the OS, you can download stuff outside of the App Store and then just like approve the developer, and then you can run it anyway. So you don't have to really change anything, and it doesn't fuck up your operating system and all that. But yeah, it's really easy to use, and it's been fucking fun. I just got to Sabrina's gym.
Oh, you're pretty far then.
Yeah.
You got to get Aerodactyl.
Aerodactyl.
I have to go
That could be a
convert him.
flying type.
Oh. Good call.
I'm trying to think
Pretty,
of another
like-
badass, I guess a legendary bird, but I wouldn't want to teach a legendary bird fly.
I mean, I used to go with like the Farfetch and push that, but I don't remember if you could actually learn fly.
I have Farfetched. He's chilling with the Pokemon babysitter.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Vermilion.
But I mean, originally I used to do the Pidgey, and I would like just train the shit out of Pidgey because they low-key get really strong.
Yeah, Pidgeots are really
Especially if you start with them and you train them the whole way, and they're super obedient. But Aerodactyl, solid.
The other one that I would always go out of my way to get right at the beginning of the game was a Nidoran. Because you had to go over like towards the Pokemon League right at the beginning of the game in those bushes over there. And I always got a male one because I always wanted to end up with a Nido King. And they were like unstoppable at the end of the fucking game.
Yeah.
They're just as strong as like a Venusaur at the end. I'm trying to
I'd
think.
always do Gyarados too, always. Every game I've ever played.
Oh, really?
I don't have the patience for that.
I do. Well, you get TM share, and then you put Magikarp in the front. So every match that opens, Magikarp's first, and then you switch to your strongest Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then they split it. But then with TM share also, then it'll split throughout like everyone.
Yeah, that's what I always did. Had my first
It's
Pokemon.
so-
like an
it's so
Abra.
worth it.
If I
Yeah.
had an Abra. I'd do
Yeah.
that.
Like if you don't have if you didn't do Squirtle, then it's worth getting Gyarados because like Water Pump and all that stuff is insane.
Yeah. So for like whenever I
Poliwrath.
played, yeah, I love the Poliwag, Poliwrath, Polygon, whatever the fuck they're
I
called.
liked it in
Oh my god,
Pokemon
that's a
Snap.
whole other Pokemon.
What? Poliwhirl, Poliwag, Poliwhirl, Poliwrath. Sorry,
Yes.
Polygod.
Polybitch. But I always would get a bunch of Pokemon like right at the beginning and keep training them, and I would just take forever just trying to level them up just to get to a gym. This time I literally I stuck with Bulbasaur for quite a while. Blasted through Brock's gym because that was so easy. Just Vine Whip everybody to death. And same with Misty's. And then found myself a Mankey and just worked on him. And then I was just kind of getting them kind of slowly. So they were always the same level, and I didn't have to spend like too much extra time trying to level them up until now I finally have a crew of 6.
Yeah, Vine Whip and what was the other one? Sweet Leaf? What was it?
It's a
Razor
Black
Leaf.
Sabbath song. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Razor Leaf's good. Razor Leaf is legit.
You could legitimately just do Razor Leaf throughout the entire fucking game
Yeah, it's good.
and probably beat it. I always liked Golem, too. I would try to get Graveler and Golem. They were usually my physical one, but they have so many weaknesses. Plant and water are suck
And
against
ground.
them. They're rocks.
I know, but ground. Diglett is a beast against Geodude and fucking Onyx and shit.
Well, you have Dugtrio too, don't you?
I have the trio, yeah.
Yeah, that's huge.
Their dig is so strong.
Dugtrio is awesome. He's been one of my favorites for a while. And of course, Haunter. I had to get Haunter right away. Yeah.
Did you guys play Pokemon Snap growing up?
I think we did a little bit.
I didn't have an N64. Thanks for reminding me. Fucking asshole.
Turn this fucking thing off. No, I think I played it. It wasn't my favorite. After I play this and finish Fire Red, I'm going to play the trading card game.
Stadium with the actual Game Boy adapter for your controller was the best.
Well, how mind blowing was that back in the day?
I couldn't believe it. Like my friend had Stadium 1 and 2 and we would switch off playing between them. And we would spend it was my neighbor. So we would play all week, like training new Pokemon for that week's battle. And then every Sunday I'd go to his house in the morning. His dad would have fresh egg rolls. We would play some Pokemon Stadium.
Breakfast savage.
And we had it set up so we couldn't use the same Pokemon 2 weeks in a row. So you always had to come back with a whole new team.
That's awesome.
Week.
That's awesome. Yeah, that sounds cool.
It was fun.
I need some trading card game in my life.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I wonder. I need to check on this emulator, but I think you can play like you would with the System Link cable. You can do over Wi-Fi, but I don't know if you have to be near somebody or if you can just do it with anybody that has a phone. So I wonder if we could play the same thing together.
Oh, I actually had an emulator on my computer, and it would allow me to open up 2 games, and I could trade with myself, and that's how I would get Alakazam.
I remember that. Yeah.
I would always get Alakazam because he is unstoppable. He's one of those unstoppable ones.
I always went for the Ghost instead. Yeah, I always go for the Ghost ones instead. So I'll have Gengar eventually. Or maybe I'll just keep Haunter forever. I've never played Yu-Gi-Oh!
Me neither.
So fun.
No, it's not.
Hey.
Just kidding. Hey. I've never played it, so obviously it's not good.
Digital Monsters. Digimon.
Get out of here. Get out of here. That shit gave me nightmares.
What, the show or the game?
Both.
They had some of the worst names. Hyper, Mega, Ultra.
I actually, literally, now that you mention it, I don't remember anything about it. That shows you the power of Pokemon was so story driven, and the styles and the types of Pokemon were so important. I remember everything. Digimon, I played the shit out of on the little device, but I don't remember a single Digimon's name whatsoever.
It was just scary.
Why?
It was
really just
scary.
Tamagotchi to the max.
Did you watch the Yu-Gi-Oh show at least?
No, that was a little after
the Digimon show?
No, Yu-Gi-Oh, the show.
No.
Oh, no, it's on Netflix. You should watch it.
No.
Dude, it's so good. Joey's got a Brooklyn accent.
No.
It's hilarious.
Joey from Friends?
No. Well, kind of, but...
Well, how do you... Where's the...
Did you guys know the Black Ranger was missing a finger?
What does that even mean?
The Black Ranger, the actor, was missing a finger. He was missing his middle finger. I'm just telling you, I'm throwing down facts. If you want to learn, it's today.
No, but he was missing it in real life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I never would have noticed that. No.
Vulcan skull. That's what we should go as for Halloween.
One of us isn't morbidly obese, though. How do we counter that part?
I don't know. One of us has to be morbidly obese. The other one has to become a fucking heroin addict. Let's get on it.
I'll pull a Mac and Always Sunny and just eat chimichangas every day. Gain 60 pounds.
Chimichangas.
All right, let's talk about Star Wars.
All right, so I got a question for you guys.
I want to hear the question about it.
So I was thinking, with all this hatred and all this defense and the fandom's all up in arms, and I was trying to think of what's the core issue. And one of the big things is our expectation. What?
Nothing.
I can't stand. This is the last time we're having him
At least
on.
you didn't say Spark. Okay, what's the core issue?
What's the core issue of the fandom? And it's the t-shirt you made. People's expectations weren't met. So I'm trying to backpedal all the way back into why? What went wrong? Where's the disconnect? So my question is, when you guys go see a Star Wars movie, what are your expectations? Or do they change movie to movie? Do they change? From
I think I learned a hard lesson from Last Jedi that I'm not going to have anymore walking into the movie.
Regardless, you do. That's the most biased thing. Yeah.
No,
Don't
never.
try not to.
I'm a Zen.
always,
I'm a Zen master. I don't have any expectations whatsoever.
You should always know. Yeah, you should always know what you like and what you want, and you should always hope for the best. It's how you deal with not getting what you expect, which shows that the problem is the people, not the content. Like if the problem was the content, then you would. I'm like almost sick of talking about it, but it's a people thing. It's not a Disney thing. It's not. I don't know. It's a traditionalist thing. It's not wanting things to change, even though people say they're okay with them changing.
It's a nostalgia thing.
Yeah, but there's a deeper issue there. It's not just that, because I think if someone, just for example, I'm 110 years old. I saw episode 4 in theaters when I was 30, and it was the perfect thing ever. What was I expecting? A fun movie where a poor kid overcomes the devil. It's awesome. Perfect. Okay, poor kid. He's a nobody. He doesn't have anybody. Boom, he blows up and wins. It's the good guys win. When I look at like our point of view or what I'm expecting, I don't actually want the good guys to win 100% of the time. And I don't want it to be so cut and dry. I want it. So my issue is when I go into a Star Wars film, I want to actually feel like the good guys are losing. Because in the original trilogy, for whatever reason, say that again?
You want to be unsure of it.
Exactly. Which is not how I felt. There hasn't been a Star Wars film yet that made me feel like the good guys might lose.
Last Jedi? There's 12 people left.
The issue is, you want to know why?
I do.
Because they're fucking laughing through half the movie. Poe at the very beginning is making the stupidest fucking jokes when he knows there's only 30 people behind him. And that's all. That's it. Let's get Hux on the phone. Okay. No.
Fucking order pizza, please.
And it's just weird interactions. Like every time they meet each other, it's always like happy smiles, shake your hands, make a stupid comment, and let's happy dance through this. And it's like, no, you all should be pissed. Half of you should be bloodied from the dick down, just in case. I want to see some strife. Like, I guess maybe that was a big disconnect. I'll sing the praises of The Last Jedi all fucking day. But I do think they swung and missed hard on that. Go ahead.
I feel like Rey was like frustrated and like pissed off like the whole movie for The Last Jedi.
She wasn't tried at all the whole fucking movie.
That's not true.
What?
I don't think she was tried the entire movie. She wasn't put in a difficult situation.
What do you mean? All her friends were off fighting. She chose to stay because she had hope that like Luke would help her.
So she's on vacation. She's on vacation in Ireland, and you're talking about strife.
The first time when he said, "I won't train you," she should have gotten back in the Millennium Falcon, flew back, and helped them. Because now when she goes back and finds out everything that's happened, she's gonna feel like she could have been there to help, which is the same thing that Luke faced on Dagobah the first time. It was like, I should go help my friends. And eventually she ends up doing that. She has to make that decision. Do I stay here and keep trying to convince Luke? Or do I go off and do what I think needs to be done? Which is her thing. She has to learn to make her own decision. It's not going to be like her challenges aren't going to be physical. They're going to be about like making decisions. They're going to be about taking responsibility for herself and like kind of letting herself be her own destiny.
What's the top mental decision that she had to go through and make? What's the most difficult situation in 7 and 8? Put it together. That she had to like deny Kylo's hand to join him? Like that was a difficult situation?
Well, in 7, the whole time, like it's very clear that like she thinks she needs to stay on Jakku. For whatever reason, like she feels like she needs to be there. She gives up on that when she gets a call to a bigger purpose. She sees Finn willing to leave and she tries to convince him to stay, even though she just herself like convinced herself to stay. She has like this draw that like she has to help them even though she doesn't have to. So she's like going against her own nature, which is the same. Like Luke never faced a challenge like that. Luke just did everything he thought he should do the whole time. He never once had to stop and sit down and say like, I have to do this or that. Like throughout the original trilogy, like Luke just was so whimsical and was like, oh shit, over here, all right, I'm going over there. Oh shit, over there, all right, I'm going over there.
Oh no, I'm not saying the original trilogy was better at that.
No, I think that like her challenges aren't going to be like Anakin's challenge. Like they're all, that's why
they're all in different situations.
Yeah, each saga is like really separating itself, and like not just visually how it's told, but also like the character, like what challenges is the character given, and each of them are so different. But that's the problem, is that people are projecting that they want the same issues and the same like aesthetics in the sequel trilogy as the original trilogy, but that would be pointless.
I like that you said that. It's like Anakin and Luke and Rey are going through a similar thing, but with a different environment. Like they all have to go through these trials and tribulations to get from point A to point B, but they're based on the state of the galaxy at the time and where they come from. They're all approaching it like a different way and running into different obstacles along the way.
And they're all kind of have like abandonment issues or like a lack of like definitive background, but they all are affected by that differently. Where like Rey wants to stay and wait for her family or whoever to come back. Luke wants to run off and join the fight, and Anakin wants to save the people that he loves. Like they're all three different responses to the same like psychological issues that they had from their like childhood and growing up.
Well, they're all trying to find themselves.
I think Anakin was like sadly the most clear-minded. Like
he was, and he was
yeah,
and he was like a mechanic. He was a slave. He wanted to help people. You know, he had attributes prior to leaving. Like we just see 18-year-old motherfucker playing with toys in the fucking sand, clean. Oh my God.
Meanwhile, his dad had built an entire protocol droid from scratch and a pod racer.
Oh my God, I can't. The issue is, and this is the issue I have with all Star Wars films, that they're not serious enough. And I think what's holding them back is because they are, in the end, children's stories. They can't really get that deep and that evil. But I think it takes away from the feeling of a movie when you force some comedy in there. Like they do, especially it's glaring in The Last Jedi. Like you'll get to a very serious point and then there'll be something Chewbacca can't eat a porg because I'm like, I get it. It's funny. But we have Snoke, Kylo, and Rey going up and down the fucking dark side.
Yeah, but notice there's no comedic breaks during the throne room scene whatsoever.
Are you sure about that? Because they're at Canto Bight.
By the time the throne room scene comes around, they're on the ship about to get executed.
And don't get me wrong, I think The Last Jedi did a better job out of all the movies to make it feel like the good guys all have their backs up against the wall.
They're not going to automatically win.
We finally saw someone. Yeah. Well, yeah, they essentially lost, but we finally see someone like have to sacrifice their own fucking life. Holdo had to sacrifice herself for the rest of them to get away. That was one major thing why I liked The Last Jedi. But in the end, the dialogue between characters took me away from the seriousness a lot, and the forced comedic stuff.
I would agree that they went a little too far in 8.
It's supposed to be the downfall of the fucking Resistance, and they start off with a phone call joke.
Well, Shinobi says here that forced comedy has always been in there from the beginning. Like there are jokes like that in there.
So
in
was
all
the Wilhelm
movies.
scream. Get it out. Get it out.
I actually would have loved them to keep the Wilhelm scream in. I get it for them, letting the past die, et cetera, et cetera. I understand. I'm really glad that 3PO and R2 were not in Solo whatsoever. That was finally great. But no, I think the forced comedy is in there. I think Last Jedi maybe had, we said this probably on a review of it back in the day, like 1 or 2 pushed jokes a little too far. But other than that, I think where it needs to stay serious, it does. Like, especially the throne room scene with Snoke and Kylo and Rey. Like, no one in that scenario is cracking jokes whatsoever because it's the most intense part of the movie.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, though.
I don't know. I don't know what it is because Shinobi brings up Jar Jar, but I think Jar Jar. I think he had a place, especially in episode 1, okay, because it was very playful. It really wasn't that intense yet. There was no war. There wasn't a war yet.
There was no father.
There was no Star Wars. That should have just been called Star Peace.
Star Peace. Star agreements.
Star agreements. I don't know what it is. I
know what you're saying.
So
you're
let me get back to
struggling
the
for like a definitive thing for what you suspect something subconsciously, but you don't know exactly how to define it. I understand.
Yeah, it's if they made a movie without that forced comedy, you know how much better, and from a certain point of view, of course, but how much better it would be.
I don't know.
Like you can have comedy in there that's not
I don't
someone
know.
actively saying a fucking joke.
All right. See, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about this in Infinity War? Like when you saw Infinity War, do you think? I know it's different because it is the darkest MCU movie that we've had so far. But like,
well, I mean, it's like that genre is kind of cheeky in a way where it's like it's already established that it's gonna nod, it's gonna wink, it's gonna like be self-referential. Like even if Star Wars has Easter eggs, I feel like it's dangerous if it's self-referential. And they're like, one of the things about Star Wars, I think, is that like they do a really good job at like cosmic irony or like establishing that like the viewer is more aware of everything that's happening than the actual characters inside of it.
Yeah.
So like that's one thing that I like about The Last Jedi is the way that Luke references like Sidious or the way that like they talk about Vader. It's a very like limited knowledge thing. But like when they start making jokes or references that is something that like a viewer would say, then I think that's where that bridge like kind of collapses.
Exactly. Like the only reason they said that wasn't to make anything better about the physical movie. It was so the audience was just like, I get it. Like, oh my God.
I think it's important to show that like Luke has found out more about what happened. Like instead of just thinking that like, oh, all Luke knows is everything he's been around for, like to show that he has an understanding of what happened before. But I don't know. I think moving forward, we're going to see a lot of things tied in together between all three sagas. So that's why I'm saying hopefully they do it right, where it's still like the characters don't know everything, but if they can start to get pieces and like talk about those pieces to each other, then the viewer gets to put it together without thinking like, okay, cool, everybody in Star Wars knows as much as we do, which is kind of pointless because then why are we watching it?
Yeah. I don't know. You said a lot of words there. Kerner said something about Logan.
Yeah, I was just going to yell at him. But quickly, the only thing that I was going for with the Infinity War reference was like, there's obvious comedy in Infinity War, but it didn't take me away from the major stakes that happened throughout the movie. If that makes sense.
It did for me.
Did it really? So
major scenes with the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor.
But that's Guardians thing.
God, I completely understand that. And that's the only reason Chris Pratt, is that his name? Chris Pratt's in it. Because he's goofy. But that did take away. Like, Thor just lost his brother. Almost died himself. 10 minutes later, he's calling the fucking thing a rabbit, and they're all giggling and yelling at each other. And I'm like, why? Thor should be very serious during this. Very fucking serious. 1, because his brother died. 2, he almost died. 3, Thor, or what's
well, he also kind of hates his brother.
Dude, he was in tears, crying. 10 minutes later, he's making fun and jokes, and I'm like...
And he was crying 10 minutes after, too, though. When him and Rocket sit down and talk about it, he's, like, tearing up.
Yeah, I feel like, especially for the Guardians, that's, like, how they deal with that shit, is just making jokes instead of confronting, like, why they're fucking heartbroken.
Like, yeah, with Infinity War, though, like, we're used to 10 years of Iron Man being a smartass when he's about to die. Like, you're kind of, like... We've been trained to like just brush that stuff off, where it almost becomes funnier like the 3rd or 4th time you see Infinity War, and then you're able to giggle because it's not as intense and like it's not as high stakes because you already know like what's gonna happen. But we're kind of used to that with Marvel movies. But like with Star Wars, we're used to kind of.
I don't know. I would say that those comedic cracks are still in there though. Like every interaction with Han and 3PO, everything Han says in 5 is like that.
But
like I'm not
it's-
used to it in Star Wars.
Whoa, but I like that. I like the Han C3PO back and forth because his character's actually pissed at C3PO. He's not making a joke for the audience to laugh.
Well, that's how Star-Lord is too. That's just how he deals with shit. He cracks jokes instead of realizing that he's actually pissed about something.
True, but if I had to pick, I would prefer the Doctor Strange and Tony Stark banter back and forth because they're not jokes, but they're making fun of each other and it's fucking funny.
Yeah.
But they're making fun of each other because there's serious shit going on and they disagree on things.
I think
that's the stuff I like.
I think the issue with the comedy in The Last Jedi is that some people felt that the jokes required like a literal like laugh out loud when like Star Wars has never been laugh out loud comedy. It's been kind of like sly or witty or like smart ass stuff.
Nice.
But when the first time I watched The Last Jedi alone and Luke threw the lightsaber, that did not feel like a comedic moment.
No, you believe me, I was pissed.
The first time it happened, it felt like it was supposed to be a joke that didn't play.
Like everyone was supposed to laugh out loud. But then when I watched it alone for the first time, it like felt heavy. And I was like, okay, I get what you might have been going for. That's why I think some of them might just been like stylistic or writing misses. I don't think it's like a threat to like the IP or to the canon that The Last Jedi exists the way it does. It was just, if it failed in some ways, it failed and you move forward from there. But I don't know. I like the movie and I always will.
Oh yeah, I do too. I'm nitpicking and we never even really answered my question because we got into other shit. But I think that's the thing. It's the people.
Yeah.
It's us. It's us.
We're guilty. What do you guys expect? Like going into 9? What are your guys' expectations? I know Cody says he tries not to have any, but I think that's the opposite.
I have so many.
Yeah.
I guess, as a fan, of course I have some. I think the reason I love Solo so much is that I went in and first of all, we had that event at Gateway, so I was distracted with that. And second of all, after everything that happened with 8, I wasn't trying to, I hope Jabba shows up. I hope Boba Fett shows up, et cetera, et cetera. Like we may have talked about those things, but I wasn't like in the theater waiting for Boba Fett to appear. Like that stuff wasn't in my head for that movie. I just really had nothing to go off of. So I just sat there and enjoyed the movie like it was. So now that I've had that experience, I'm trying to do that more often especially with 9 when that comes up. As a super fan wise, I don't know. I would say like Knights of Ren. It'd be nice to know more about that. Like if Snoke's gone and Kylo is leading the First Order by himself, I feel like he needs some backup. I feel like him and Hux are going to have some real tension there. Like Hux wants to be in control, feels like he deserves to be in control, especially after he saw Kylo embarrass himself in front of Luke and lose the resistance on Crate. Like there's going to be some back and forth there.
He did a lot of stuff to get where he was, so he's going to be pissed.
Yeah. So I mean, some tension there. I would love. They've mentioned the Knights of Ren, but we haven't seen them. Like, where are all those former apprentices of Luke? I guess I would say biggest or something, but definitely Mark Hamill as a Force Ghost training Rey.
I just want smooth transitions.
I don't.
I just want the crawl. As long as the crawl is there, I'm happy.
Actually, I don't want to crawl. No, I wholeheartedly expect something out of left field that none of us have ever expected. We all think, oh, there's a possibility of like Kylo becoming good because he's conflicted, blah, blah, blah. But what if they end on a crazy note where Kylo and Rey have to come together again, but the very last thing is like they find out about a Vishit character at the end where no one's controlling shit. And they're all pawns of this dude's game. I'm not saying that has to be it, but I want something like that big time to blow me out, actually.
Big time.
Big time.
I don't know, man.
We're going to get something outer rim. Everything for the past 3 years has been leading to some major conflict with someone we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Like the new Thrawn book, there's references in Tarkin, there's references in like Aftermath, there's like Rebels, like so many things have been leading up to like there's something out there. and I still think, but I think we're gonna get Naboo. I think we're gonna get Coruscant. I think we're gonna get Tatooine. Like, I think we're gonna get locations that are gonna tie everything together.
That's a very good point, and I really like that you said that, because it does feel like instead of, so they reference back to themselves so hard in so many different ways, except for planets. Like Rogue One, they didn't touch a fucking surface that has already been touched, except for Mustafar, I guess. But no, I feel like they're always trying to pave their own way rather than just make something.
I feel like it's a delicate balance though between, because we've complained about fan service.
Fan service.
Like, I feel like it's a delicate balance between giving us all that shit that reminds us of the other movies and not just sticking in the old movie territory.
But it'd be awesome. Just think about how awesome it would be if for some reason, like in the Millennium Falcon, after 8, where would the Resistance go? Naboo! It makes so much fucking sense. But that's not forced. That makes complete sense. Where would Leia go? Alderaan's already gone. She's got Naboo bloodline. There she would probably have more friends than anywhere.
Well, that's where it all started too.
And that's where it's gonna fucking end.
From a storytelling standpoint, that would be the most beautiful thing ever. Yeah. I saw tweets. I saw tweets
also,
like.
Good.
I was gonna say, I saw a tweet like, for example, Star Wars, at least for 1 through 6, was about Anakin Skywalker. So what better way to tie everything together in 9 than bringing Anakin Skywalker back in some way?
That's why I think we're gonna see. Well, I would like to see those 4 like locations: Mustafar and Naboo, Coruscant, Tatooine. Those 4 places are like everything that happened to Anakin pretty much happened in those 4 locations.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Leia Bloodline book, she gets stuff passed down to her from Padme that had been kept in secret and had been kept on Naboo. I'm pretty sure it's like that same lake house that her and Anakin go to, but there's a chest there that ends up having a recording.
I was gonna say, there's a chest there. Yeah, I bet there is a chest there.
That has a recording for Leia of everything that happened that Padme had like recorded specifically for her, that like Bail or someone ends up passing it down to her in Bloodlines, and it has like a recording from Bail. So I think that them going back
hinted to it, but so you're
other people knew about it and were supposed to give it to it's all in Bloodlines, but basically Padme left stuff for Leia on Naboo
to like explain what was happening, because obviously they never met their parents.
It has to do with like Bail explained a lot to her through recording after he was dead too. Like, it's all tied in. You gotta read that book before Resistance comes out.
Okay, Mopar, how many sentences did you just start?
Everyone needs to read or listen to Bloodlines before the Resistance cartoon comes out, because it's going to be tied together, like, undoubtedly. Okay. And it's the best Leia content ever. She's a badass.
I actually don't have that book yet, so time to get it.
It's so good.
Yeah, I am still I'm excited for the Padme book because of this link. Just me being not the biggest Padme fan doesn't mean anything. I'd rather hear about probably 90% of the other characters, honestly. But I think this Padme book has a fucking super amount of potential. Like, it could change everything. So that's why I think it could be very pivotal. But if it's not that pivotal, like, there's a delicate balance there. It could be atrocious if it doesn't have like that.
Doesn't have a dude as the main character.
If she doesn't get naked in 2 or 3 scenes, holy shit.
Don't expect a lot out of that book.
Why would you say that? I expect everything. I'm a Star Wars fan.
That book's not going to be like very tied, I don't think, to everything.
You're a fucking liar, dude. You don't know
See, that's what I'm scared of. Is it's going to be kind of frilly.
It's just gonna be a character thing. Like, she's in the new Thrawn book, but it's not like, she does cool stuff, but it's not like crazy.
So what I do enjoy, and it pisses me off at the same time, just like the color teal, is Star Wars content. Like, you could have stuff 90% of the time. It doesn't mean shit. It's just kind of laser swords and guns. But that little 10% circle that connects everything, that one conversation that Padme has with a character in Clone Wars that changes outcomes in later movies. Oh, why the commander passed out?
That's what I fucking
That's why
love
you
about
watch-
Star Wars, honestly.
That's why you guys watched all of Rebels, right?
Almost all of Rebels.
I don't remember what I've seen in Rebels.
I need to
Yes,
order the
but
Blu-ray.
It's exactly what you're talking about. Like there's little things in there where you're like, okay, that's why I watched all these seasons. Was even if it's that one little piece in the final season in the last 3 episodes, you're like, oh, I can never see Star Wars the same again. Like that just.
Yeah.
You did say
Yeah.
that about The Last Jedi, or not, the Clone Wars last week. You're like, I guarantee there's ones that I've just kind of had on in the background and they said some one line that changed the universe that I didn't get to see.
But that's unfortunate that the 3 fucking episodes before that one threw me so off that I couldn't give a fuck.
God damn it, Dave Filoni.
See,
what are you
that's
doing?
the issue. That's the issue. And it's not a major issue. It's because I have the fucking... What was I talking about?
Oh,
Yeah,
snap. All right,
don't
guess
know.
what I just found out?
What was that?
I think Rebels is on Amazon Prime Video.
It's on the Disney XD app.
XD app.
I don't have the
That's where I
XD
watch
app.
it.
Why would I have that?
Is that free?
If you have Disney on your cable.
I don't have cable.
I don't have cable either. Actually, I think I do.
I might just order the Blu-rays.
Kiss Anime. If you have Kiss Anime or Kiss Cartoon, it's on there.
I'm going to look up TuneGet. That's my backwater shit that I use.
Yeah, it's usually all on there.
I will find it and I will watch it.
Oh yeah, I'm reading the Thrawn book though.
How
The first
far
one?
it does is it written like he's a fucking vampire? Because all he does is breathe heavy and talk slow.
Wait, did you read the first one?
He listened to
I'm still 99% of the way through it because the goddamn book drags on and on and on.
Oh, the first one's so good.
I've heard bad things about the first one, honestly.
What?
Like
I've
it's
never heard a
like
bad
it's
thing,
great. Everyone that I've heard say something about Thrawn's like, yeah, it's great because it's Thrawn, but honestly, it's like kind of slow.
Oh no, it's an amazing book.
I completely disagree. Until I get to that 10% again, I'm looking for the needle in the haystack of the 10% that matters in the fucking book.
I got a few more books I
Oh.
need to order. It looks like.
Well, I don't know. I like the first one better than the second one so far.
Well, a big part of it was because they put that crazy Kentucky twang on his first mate or whatever his
Oh,
dude's name
Eli
is.
Vanto. Oh, Eli's
Yeah.
that dude's the best.
Dude, I have the Utini box in my car. I fucking forgot to bring it in. It has Thrawn in it with the Comic-Con
new one?
cover signed.
The new one's it's good. I don't think Zahn can write Anakin. That's the only problem.
No one can
just
write
as a-
Anakin. He's the Force.
Just as a side note, TuneGet.net does have all the way through the end of season 4 of Rebels.
Oh my god.
So I recommend going out over there.
Guess what I'm watching tonight?
Just literally, if you just watch season 4, honestly.
I think I've gotten probably 2 seasons in, but I really didn't pay too much attention. Actually, I watched all the way through the Death. It wasn't Dathomir. It was Mandalore, where they were in the crust, right? Under the crust, where
That's
Darth Maul and
Malachor?
Ahsoka. Malachor. That's you're right.
Yeah, as long as you see that Vader Ahsoka fight, then you
Yeah.
can see season 4.
Okay, then I'll just jump to season 4 then. And I'm not even sure I saw all the way up to that because I chose that because that's one of the most epic matches ever. Because that's
Yeah.
one of the most Vader things I've ever heard. Because Ezra goes up against him. I'm not scared of you. Then you'll die braver than most. Holy shit! That was the greatest line I've ever heard. I love it. It's so Vader.
Did you see the new Vader stuff where he convinced Tarkin and a couple other people to try to hunt him down on a planet or a moon?
He talked other people to hunt himself down?
He convinced Tarkin and I think it was Tarkin and 20 troops on some moon to try to hunt down Vader. Because have you read Tarkin?
I have.
So you know how his background on Yurdu is his family was they go out and they do that hunt and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like his coming
Well-
of age thing.
Yeah, so in the new Vader comic, Tarkin is hunting down Vader as a challenge with 20 other people. It's gnarly.
That's crazy, man. That's fucking crazy. They're all savages. They're both savages. They're both good.
Yeah, yeah. So, what are your expectations when you go into a Star Wars movie?
I want
All of it.
Force ghosts. I want Luke cutting down AT-ATs at the feet. I want everything.
So, and just to simplify it, I know I said it earlier, but I want to feel struggle. I want to feel strife, whether it could be good guys or bad. I don't give a. It could be bystanders dying or something weird like that. I want to feel like, holy shit, this is happening. Whatever this is, insert big boss. Whatever the fuck is happening.
I will say that I usually do feel those things in the comics and the novels, but never in the movies.
Yeah.
So I would agree with you there. Last Jedi did push it a little bit. I mean, the Resistance is a dozen people on the Falcon. Like, obviously things are bad. So we did start getting that, but I would love more focus on the good guys are in a shitty situation. They have to figure it out. Would be great.
Yes, go ahead, Jacob.
Yes, Mr. Weiss.
The most recent Poe Dameron comics, The Awakening, parts 1 through 5.
Mhm.
You can find them on YouTube. I think like Star Wars Comics or whatever does a video for them where it just goes through all the panels. Or if you have the comic app, it all takes place between The Force Awakens and kind of like right after The Last Jedi. But it's about it's while they're on the Falcon, they're retelling kind of everything that happened during The Force Awakens. There's like a moment where Finn asks Poe like I don't remember anything from the last thing I remember was like being in a lightsaber fight with Kylo and then like waking up, like what happened, and Poe tells it from his point of view. And then Black Squadron's been out looking for allies between like that whole like period of The Force Awakens. After they destroyed Starkiller Base, they went out looking for allies because Leia sent them out.
Wait, the whole period of The Last Jedi.
Yeah, which is why they weren't there. So they explained that that's one of the reasons why Poe went up alone. And then Poe was like, oh, I have to like challenge the First Order's ego to create like a distraction so that you guys can evacuate. So like they go into that whole thing. So if you want to know a little bit more about that, like you should read those.
Wait, you're saying he went alone to create a distraction so they could evacuate the planet they were on?
Yeah, so what happened was they showed up at, like, the First Order showed up at Dakar, and they were literally just chilling. Like, the Resistance was just hanging out. And then they were, like, celebrating, and then 3PO, obviously 3PO is the one that finds out that they're there. And then everyone's like, oh, shit, like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. And Poe's like, I have a really bad idea. Like, I'll go up there, and he's like, the First Order is all ego. Like, if I can just challenge them, then... like pretty much one-on-one, then it'll be the biggest distraction because they'll want to shoot me down. So he like explains that whole thing, and then Black Squadron wants to back him up, and then Leia stops them and says like, I need you guys to go look for allies. And so then it follows like their trip looking for allies, which is kind of a failure also. But it's just 5 comics. You should read it. It's the 5 most recent ones. It's called The Awakening.
Okay.
I've learned a terrible truth, actually. That Marvel Comics app that I have, that's pretty amazing. It doesn't put things on the app until they've been out for a certain length of time.
That's good.
No, it is good. But yeah, so if like some of the newest stuff, by the time I catch up with everything, I'm gonna have to go buy a few. Or what's the one that you have, Mopar? Like that's based on Amazon? Is it like
Comixology?
And it has all the absolutely newest current stuff?
I don't know about that.
Because that'd be a good question.
I don't think they're allowed to because the comic book shop issue.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go buy a few physical copies of like the Poe and the Vader and everything else.
I will say, and I'm sure it's the same thing, but every time I go on Comixology, there's always a super fucking hyper sale going on. It's like 85% off. I just opened it up and said 83% off shit right now. Like,
make sure you unsubscribe from their emails though, because that shit will stack up.
Oh yeah, I always do. That's what I do. If it forces me, I go right into my emails and I'll unsubscribe. I can't stand.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
What the
Wait,
hell?
when are we starting to play Battlefront again?
Whenever they fix everything and make it good.
I still play it. I play it a couple times a week.
So, all right. So I was actually thinking about this earlier today. Let me look this up. Battlefront. What was the fucking that name of that thing called? Roadmap. So
no, I still enjoy the game thoroughly.
the
It's
last
fun.
update that I saw was that they put Palpatine back in the game. I haven't seen anything since then. So what I want to know is, where's that thing? So fall is supposed to be Obi-Wan and Grievous, the new Conquest mode, Clone and Hero new appearances, and the squad system's going to be fixed. So once that happens, I think I'm going to go balls deep back into the game. But until then, I don't play too much anyway, so it's just going to be PUBG and Overwatch and shit until that point. For me, personally.
Well, personally, what the fuck, man? Battle fun. I like it. I mean that's small stuff. But if something's happening.
His prostitute has arrived.
His prostitute?
Yeah, Twilight.
Or is he the prostitute?
He is. Well, he's
called.
got a call for a job, yeah.
Like he's got one of those restaurant table buzzers. Meh, meh. Like your hooker's ready.
It is
all
now
warmed up.
time.
No, I still say, and I'll stand by, I think the game's fun. It has its flaws, clearly, especially like gameplay and matchmaking and that sort of thing. But I still thoroughly enjoy it. I think I get excited when I get on Camino or something like that. Like I haven't played this one in a while. At this point, I haven't played Tatooine in like a month, and so I'm just waiting for it to come back around. But I think it's fun. If it wasn't a Star Wars game, I think everybody would like it better. There's just such high expectations for Star Wars games.
I think if it was not a Star Wars game, no one would play it. Like, I think it has
I also
its
don't think
flaws.
there's high expectations.
I don't know, man. After going and playing other games, especially Overwatch is the glaring one. It's like, oh, this game is made to be a fucking game. Like when you go back and play Battlefront after that, it's like the littlest things are just so frustrating. I feel like if it wasn't Star Wars game and didn't have like that universe and those characters and graphics and settings and everything, the people wouldn't play it because it's not that great of a game. It's fun because we're Star Wars fans.
Could you imagine if they made something like an Overwatch game just with Star Wars characters? Because that would probably be one of the best-selling things of all time.
Guaranteed. They need to fucking
Because it's
unleash
such a
the
solid
license and let somebody else make a Star Wars game.
Say what you will about the Call of Duty franchise now, but I've been watching a lot of the Black Ops 4 gameplay this week for beta. That game shipped complete. Even though like the Battle Royale stuff isn't in it yet, the game modes that they have are perfectly worked out. People are expecting a high-quality AAA game title, and it delivered for a beta. And it's already like, yeah, there's going to be stuff that pops up, but like the game already feels like a full game. And Battlefront's been out for how long?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I still play it because it's fun to me.
I mean,
I
it's
would-
definitely
if you
fun
gave me-
because it's Star
if you gave me
Wars,
Call
no
of
doubt.
Duty's- yeah, if you gave me Call of Duty skin, I don't even need like the Battlefield like depth. Like if you gave me, because I'd say Battlefront is closer to Call of Duty, like just the running gun style.
Yeah.
If you gave me that AAA game like engine and the way that matchmaking is and the personality and the customization for it and just skinned it as Star Wars, it'd be a huge game.
I don't know why they didn't dig deeper into the customization. Like they tried. Like you can get a
Did they?
scope and like, well, they did. It looked like there was at least a thought like we should have some customization. But then you get your guns and you're like, I can put a weird scope on it and that's it. That's all.
Well,
I
by
can
the
do?
time you get the scope, you can already play with the next gun.
Yeah. Exactly.
Then you end up not even using the scope.
Yeah, and there's
And
four guns.
There's 4 guns.
Yeah, and the mod for almost every single one is just here's a scope and here's like a reduced recoil and that's it.
Yeah, and the only really difference is fire rate between each of the guns. The damage is barely different.
Like
Yeah.
I feel you. Like it as a Star Wars fan, it's fun running around as Darth Maul and cutting people up. But
For a time. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it runs out and then I need to wait until their next big update to make it feel fresh again. And then I can go play it again for like a month and a half, 2 months. And then again, I'm just kind of waiting for the next thing. So like I said, as soon as they fix like the squad system and if they do bring back Conquest mode, like I hope they will. And people have been saying like the new big mode is supposed to be like Conquest. I think that could change a lot. Just that mode could change a lot.
Man, I'm just thinking, what if they made like the TIE Fighter game from 90 whatever, 3 or 4, whatever the fuck. Just make an update for that. You had different missions. You flew in. You actually had different TIE Fighters. You could choose a TIE Defender, fly in, do a certain mission.
Oh yeah, it's like DLC, like arcade stuff. Yeah.
That's one thing I'm honestly shocked about. I'm so surprised that there's a max of 3 ships per faction. And for the First Order and Resistance, it's 2 ships per faction. I'm honestly surprised they haven't released more ships for that. Where's the Defender? Where's the fucking B-Wing? Where's all those things?
They're introducing shit. The U-Wing. You just went through Rogue One, and you can't be a U-Wing?
Dude, there's no Rogue One content in there now that I think about it. Jeez, like,
there's
what are you doing?
There's no Rogue One content anywhere.
And the funny thing is for the first Battlefront in 2015, they rushed to get it out to meet Force Awakens, but there was no Force Awakens content, but then there was Rogue One content. And now we have all Force Awakens and Last Jedi content, but no Rogue One content at all.
Wait, there was Rogue One content on the first Battlefront?
Yeah, they released that one game mode that was like you started in space above Scarif, and then once you got to this checkpoint, then you landed on the beach.
Oh my god, I got to play that then.
Yeah.
See, I want to see what happens if like Respawn or Sledgehammer or like Activision, like one of those developers gets their hands on a Star Wars game. I mean, I'm like obviously biased right now because I'm playing so much Black Ops, but the game came out 8 years ago, and I'm still playing with new guns that I never played with before.
Yeah, I think
And
just
like,
in general, it's like just unleashing the license to let other developers have a stab at things.
That was such a bad idea.
Yeah. Like, and just think of what they did when LucasArts was still around, like back around Revenge of the Sith era. Like, there's so many different types of Star Wars games that you could do. Like, let us have a deep open world sandbox RPG. Let us have some MMO type thing. Let us have a shooter. Let us have a fucking Starfighter game. Like,
dude, why can't I play co-op anything in Star Wars? I want to go online, choose like, just like Resident Evil 4, 5, 6, and 10. Like, I can be one character in the story. Kerner can log in and be the other character, and let's go through something, go through a storyline. You know how epic that would be?
Well, they need to bring back like the LucasArts games as like a studio, or at least as like a distribution. Like,
yeah.
Whereas LucasArts can decide, okay, you guys make this, or we have this concept for a game, this studio and this engine would be best for it, and like kind of let people do their thing. Because I could see if this keeps going with like the movies and the shows, I could see 5 years down the line getting like an in-depth RPG from like an RPG studio instead of like EA trying to build an RPG game if everyone wants it.
Right.
Like, and they need to let it go specifically to the people that make those games.
Yeah, like let Bethesda give me something in the Star Wars universe.
Oh my god.
I would fucking die. I would cream my pants and I would die.
You know how much money
my phone would be off. My phone would be off for 2 weeks.
Let BioWare make KOTOR 3.
Just let BioWare.
Yeah, let BioWare do
let
anything.
BioWare ... fill in the fucking do whatever, man. Let them do anything. I don't care. You could.
Yeah, I know. It's frustrating.
No, and I'm not sitting here saying Battlefront 2 is like a great fucking game. In no way. I get on there because if I want to play for an hour and no one else is on, I'll fucking fly a Naboo starfighter and shoot some shit. That's fucking fun to me.
Oh, except you can't because there are Naboo starfighters in there.
Yeah, there are.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you can be a Naboo starfighter.
But not only...
Fly the lat. You just have to sit in the fucking little circle ball thing and shoot a laser.
Yeah, that sucks.
They were sneaky.
Hopefully.
I remember when they released that original footage at E3 last year of people playing on Naboo. They were sneaky about that. Like, they showed people in different positions in vehicles. And I was like, oh, it's going to be like Battlefield. You can get in the lat and then switch between the pilot's seat and the gunner's seat, et cetera, et cetera. No, you can't. You have to get a few points and then cash in and be in the gunner's seat for 3 seconds.
But there's no reality to it either. Like, you can't repair. You can't, like, there's nothing you can do.
Hopefully, Geonosis, if they bring when they bring Geonosis, hopefully that changes the way Galactic Assault's played. Because that was the best thing about those maps before, is that they were big enough that you could actually use vehicles. But like when you use like vehicles on some of the maps, you can only use them in like this little area because the way the map's designed. Like playing on Crate, like having a walker's cool, but you can only move like this much once you're inside, so you end up just getting lit up. And like the old ones, you could actually fly around and like, I don't know.
No, it's limited in so many ways, and it's funny because like the first one, I would argue that the second one's better than the first one, but they only upgraded such minimal things. Like the environments are fucking perfect, but my gun doesn't load until halfway through the fucking
work and how this new new game mode is going to work. That's my thing. But like I said last, I don't know, fucking 6 or 8 episodes ago, like the reason I uninstalled it was because they unleashed that roadmap they had been prepping forever and at E3 and everything. They're like, oh yeah, all that stuff that we said was going to come in a few weeks, it's coming in December. Don't worry about it.
Oh
I was
my
like,
God, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take a break from this for now. So if
Dude,
they
honestly,
like, I just want them to like redeem themselves. Like if Geonosis is great, if the squad system is fixed, and literally that one conquest mode could change so many things. If they're able to implement it on the different maps, like that could be a game changer for this game.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe more playable, but honestly, the level design is like trash. Like every time you play a map, you play it the same exact way.
I agree.
Like there's only one way to play Crate. There's only one way to play Kessel. There's only one way to play Naboo. Like the game is just so two-dimensional when like tactically that it's a great thing to do for a while, but then it just becomes like monotonous, like mindless, like run to A.
Exactly.
There's no tactics in any of it. There's no situational things where, oh no, they did take this. Now that changes the course of the map. Nothing.
That's why
It's a
I hope
straight
maybe
line.
that conquest thing could change that a little bit. But
See,
I don't
that's
know
why
if,
I love the battlefield aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like, do you have 6 points? It's not straight line in 6 points. They're taking D while you're taking L, and you're like,
it's
fuck,
because
we gotta
you're
get back to D.
rotating. Yeah.
yeah.
And
That
you gotta
could
think
fix
about it. When we're heading back to D, should we take a tank or should we fly over there? Should we fucking swim? Should I be a engineer this time?
Or
Like,
even
all
like,
this stuff.
Yeah, it's DICE.
Creative
It's not like they
mode.
don't know what they're doing.
yeah, and there's no creative game modes. Like even Extraction is it's one little difference from like the other game types.
Yeah. Because every
That's the
time
one
there's
thing.
only like 3 maps for extraction, and every time the cargo goes from point A to point B, and that's it.
Yeah, and you play the same tunnel, you play the same route from above, you play the same flank. I think that's the reason that I've been loving going back and playing Black Ops so much, is that you play the same maps, but there's 12 different game modes to play on those maps. So like when you play Domination, that's a whole different game than when you play Search, when you play Free for All, when you play Headquarters, when like all those games, you take different routes, use different guns, use different secondaries, different tactical, like the team plays together differently. Like you can branch out on your own, different kill streaks. Like there's so much depth for what seems like a simple, like run and gun shooter. And like, that's why I've been able to play it so much. Cause it's every time I would play around, it's different.
Well, what changes is your enemy, and you have to adapt to your enemy's tactics. You don't have to do any of that in Battlefront, because the enemy's tactics is to run up and shoot you, or run to a certain point and get a fucking gun to shoot you. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, I completely get that. And if at best, I would probably give it like a 6 out of 10, because I do think it is very repetitive, but I do enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah. I just
And
don't
once-
think I could play it every day.
I can play it
and
in, I
once
can
I
play it
do-
in spurts. Yeah.
Yeah. Once I do get a group together and we can all go in, it is really fun. We're all running around shooting shit, and you can end up changing the course. Well, not in its entirety, but it would change it a little bit where you're kind of talking to each other. And
I'd
stuff.
say the only thing that really changes in Battlefront is how quickly the game ends.
No, that's very true.
That's like the only difference. It's like, okay, we won in 6 minutes. Okay, we won in 10 minutes.
We
That's
didn't even get to the
literally-
palace. We won. Woo!
Yeah.
It's just like,
That's the only difference, is like how quickly it ends, which is I don't know.
No, it's extremely frustrating. I still stand by what I say. I like it, but there's way more downfalls than up jumps.
It's hard to defend.
It is
I
hard
just
to
want to
defend.
say, guys, it's very, very tough to defend it. Yes.
It's very difficult.
I agree 100%. That's all I have to say about it.
So what do you guys expect from the Disney series?
Mandalore.
That doesn't mean anything. Tell me more, guest.
All right, I expect Clan Vizsla. I expect a connection to Sabine Wren.
Is the Darksaber still around?
Darksaber is going to be around forever. I expect a reference. I expect multiple if it is like around Mandalore, I expect references to the Mandalore Wars. I expect references to the Jedi Civil War, to Revan, to the mask itself.
Oh my God.
I expect.
Wait a second. Even
That's a lot of expectations.
Even in Legends, wasn't the mask destroyed? Or no,
the mask. He found it on that ice planet.
Well, yeah, I remember that, but I thought when Vishit took him in and imprisoned him, I thought he destroyed them.
Oh, that's a Shinobi question because he knows about the MMO.
Oh yeah, that might be beyond, because I do remember him, Revan, in the MMO unmasked, but maybe that was just the video I saw.
Oh, I think that was technically. I think that was before the Revan book.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize they jumped timeline like that. Like, okay.
I don't know. Shinobi's in the chat. Ask him.
Yeah, that. I guess I should know a little more about that.
But
I wish there was something to read about Revan outside of the Revan book.
Yeah, because I know the mask isn't in Clone Wars or Rebels, so I would think that it would resurface if they're going to do a Mandalorian plot. Because I mean, the mask is just so big to them.
What if?
Oh yeah, see, Shinobi said more details about Vizsla and the first Mandalorian Jedi. That'd be cool.
The first Mandalorian Jedi.
Ooh, that would also tie back to how the Jedi Palace was built on top of
a Sith
burial
ground or whatever.
Burial ground, which the Sith burial ground was built on top of an old like light side focus point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why the Sith built their temple there.
That's very weird. No, I think that's a cool aspect, but it's I don't know why I'm going back to Power Rangers, but it's like putting Ivan Ooze in that barrel and putting him, and he's just marinating for 1,000 years. When he comes out, he's going to be more powerful. So it's like they're constantly trying to one up each other, and it's fucking themselves over in the end.
That's why I would be so down if in 9 we go back to Coruscant and it's just this like shitty cyberpunk rundown city that's just been forgotten, where like so much corruption came from that place because like it was a light side fulcrum, and then the Sith built a temple on top of that, and then the Jedi built a temple on top of that, and then Palpatine turned it back into a palace, and then and like this and that, like back and forth. That like Coruscant is such this root for like corruption and this like need for power that if they go back to it in 9 and it's just destroyed, then like there could be this whole plot thing where it's like this is like the fulcrum of like a galaxy, and like if we can restore balance and try to bring balance here, then that will stretch out. Like that's where it always starts, is like whatever's happening in Coruscant affects everywhere.
No, hi, hello, thank you.
Welcome Eddie Murphy to the chat.
Eddie Murphy, we're over here, Eddie. We're over here. Say hi.
Move, cat.
Move it. No, and that was kind of what I was thinking about. If Leia would go back to Naboo, if it was like kind of scarred by the war and it wasn't the same old beautiful place, that would just, and that's the depth, and that's the effect, and that's the wake of a war. That's what I want to see, but that's not what we see. Like you go. There's so many. I just feel like we've done it over and over, and we said it. That's what the podcast is. They just missed out on so many options and so many opportunities. What's the whoa?
I'm just like, the Plagueis novels coming back to me. Naboo is like hugely important, not just because of Padme and like what happened with Anakin there and what happened with Maul and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, but like Palpatine is also from there.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. That is like such an important place that a lot of shit started to turn. And the fact that Palpatine chose that place to start the whole Trade Federation dispute and all that stuff.
That is kind of, that makes it sound so brutal. And Shinobi's correct. He said, I think Mopar's mixing up the mask of Mandalore with the mask of Revan. And that's what I thought everybody was talking about, was the mask of
I'm talking
Revan.
about the actual Mandalore, like not the Mandalorian mask, but like Mandalore's mask.
Yeah. And that's what he finds. No, yeah, because that's who he gives it to. Canderous, right? In the second book?
In the novel, they find it
Or in the novel, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, in that like icy planet. But there's also like weird. I forget exactly what happens, but there's like some weird like spirit there haunting it or something like that.
Ajunta Paul is everywhere. Oh man, no, Shinobi's on top of it because that's exactly what I was thinking of. They should just fucking instead of that, just find the Mask of Revan. That should be laying around somewhere.
That's gonna trigger every Mandalorian.
Or Crate, the Crate's mask, Darth Crate.
He's Legends though, Mopar.
Come on. After also.
It's during this time, I believe, because he was in the Clone Wars with Anakin, and he becomes Crate after 6.
Mm-hmm.
Because because he was kind of sparked. I think it was slightly after Thrawn though, because Thrawn takes over, fails, dies, and then Crate arises because he's like basically the only powerful thing ever. The only powerful thing ever.
Dude, there's some weird stuff in Thrawn alliances. I don't know. There's some cringy moments in it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be Star Wars if there wasn't cringe.
I'll just say that there is a moment where Anakin uses the Force to puppeteer a dead body to make it look like it's injured and walking.
What? Is that better or worse than fucking shooting a peach at your loved one?
That is way better. Trust me.
Oh, it's a peach cobbler, bitch! Woohoo!
Master Obi-Wan would be very grumpy.
But
that's funny that they're limited like that. Anakin, have you been lifting fruit again?
What did we tell you?
It's like Obi-Wan can sense it across the galaxy, and he's trying to just do this mission. He's like, damn it, Anakin's fucking around with the pears.
Bears.
There needs to be like a scene of like a animated scene of Qui-Gon doing that to Shmi, and that's like where Anakin landed from. Qui-Gon's like feeding Shmi from across the table. And she's like, there was no father.
There was no father. How about now, bitch?
Doesn't Qui-Gon float that apple towards himself in episode 1?
No, he pulls the apple from Jar Jar's mouth, doesn't he?
No, Jar Jar snaps it out of his hand.
I think Qui-Gon pulls the apple through the Force, and then Jar Jar grabs it with his tongue.
Is it through the Force, though?
I thought it was.
No. We're all wrong. Jar Jar just tries to lick it off the table, and he snaps his tongue.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're
it's like the tongue grab.
We're just making shit up now.
Which should be a move.
Anything to further the Qui-Gon is Anakin's dad storyline we will do. Just making scenes up that didn't happen.
Thanks, Dad. I'm not your father. Like, I was listening to one of our old episodes real quick. I was listening to one of our old episodes, and I still to this day think they should put some crazy codes in for Battlefront. So for example, you could be Bill Clinton in NBA Jam. Like, I want to see some weird DK mode where everybody's head. Like, I loved that shit, especially as a kid.
Or you could just be George Lucas on the battlefield. George Lucas versus Kathleen Kennedy, fucking dueling it out.
And his gun just shoots dollar bills because he's a fucking $4 billionaire.
It's called a PC. Just play those hacks.
Just get mods. Get mods, bro.
All right. You know what I realized today?
What'd you realize?
How many canon Jedi have killed Sith?
0.
Not many.
0. Who has killed a Sith?
Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Yeah.
Where did Obi-Wan kill a Sith?
Darth Maul, you fuck.
He lives. He's still not dead.
And then he killed him again. What are you talking about?
Dude, he took a nap on Tatooine. You see him lay him down in that fucking... I still don't think he's dead. He killed him twice and he's still not dead.
He should have been alive the second time. You guarantee they're not going to fucking put that little duel, quote unquote, in there and make him live again. That would be... I would give up on Disney
he's
after
definitely
that.
Dead.
All right, that's a maybe. We'll chalk that up.
Oh, so Obi-Wan killed him 1.5 times.
So what's the second one?
Vader killed Palpatine.
Anakin's not a Jedi.
You could argue by the time the end of Return of the Jedi rolls around that he is.
Dooku. If you don't want to play that game, you could just say Dooku.
Yeah.
And Dooku, yeah.
So there.
Well, what about Grievous? He was trained in the Sith arts.
Yeah, but he's not a Sith.
He's not a Sith.
His fucking spleen was.
Actually, if you listen to what he says, he was trained in the Jedi arts.
Yeah, by Dooku.
Oh, that's true. By Dooku.
Yeah, so in all 8 movies and the entire Clone Wars and Rebels, only 2 have killed
Anakin and Obi-Wan, which are the only 2 that matter.
So then, this is what I started thinking. Who's the antagonist and protagonist of the first 3 movies?
Technically, Maul wasn't a Sith.
No, he was. He was.
By the time he died.
He was a pawn.
In Palpatine's major plan, yeah, but he was still a Sith apprentice.
No, I think by the time he faced Obi-Wan at the end in Rebels, I think he was a Sith.
What's the Sith version of a Jedi Knight? That's what Maul was.
He was a Dark Jedi.
No, they would call him
Jedi.
Sith assassins, but
He's a Sith, yeah.
because there can only be like a master and apprentice. But
Asajj wasn't Sith. You could say that because Dooku laughs in her face.
Oh, see, I put Maul in.
He's a fallen Jedi. I'd say Asajj is a fallen Jedi.
Yeah, because the first time they meet, she's like, I am Sith. And he's like,
no, but Maul,
you bitch.
Maul's definitely his Sith apprentice in Episode 1.
Yes,
Shinobi. Well, at that point, maybe, but he said in the Clone Wars he denounces himself as a Sith.
No, yeah, he says
because then he's trying to kill the Sith. Yeah.
But in Phantom Menace, he's definitely the Sith apprentice because it's only him and Palpatine.
So
he was
I guess
a Sith assassin beforehand because, according to legends, that's how he convinces Plagueis. The same way that Dooku convinces Palpatine that Asajj is just a Sith assassin, but he wants to train her as his apprentice.
But you could say by the time that Darth Maul actually dies, he's not a Sith.
Yeah, but I would say that he's killed as a Sith and comes back not as a Sith. The same way Anakin dies when he becomes Vader.
Formerly Darth, now just Maul.
All right, we're getting poetic on this shit. I understand.
So is there backstories? Like when?
Are we going to go for longest episode ever?
No, we're not even close.
Why, you got something to do?
We can do it. No, I'm down. Let's do it. It's a challenge.
I need some pizza if that's going to happen.
So what were you guys' thoughts on Luke Skywalker?
Everything negative that you could think of.
Just start with the opening scene of A New Hope and just go through.
We're going to do a review of every single Star Wars movie that's ever been released ever.
What are the first 2? What's the first character you see on screen? Is it C-3PO?
C-3PO, yeah.
Yeah.
God,
hopefully it's the last character we see on screen too. Am I right?
I hope he dies on screen at the end of episode 9.
Short circuit.
What if we get our first post-credit scene in Star Wars?
Why?
Tell me about it.
Is C-3PO still alive and K2SO, who is probably the most capable droid we've ever seen, has died?
Because C-3PO's never gotten in a challenge.
It's true. All he does is fucking bop R2 on the head and walk around and talk shit. That's all he does.
Hide in the hallways.
To be fair, C-3PO is not a threat to anybody. So why would you even waste?
He's a threat to himself.
He's a threat.
Yeah. You see how in Clone Wars, Anakin's so over him. He's like, "Why the fuck did I make you?" The scene where they got to get the goji berries for the cake.
I wonder if he's more of a nuisance than a normal protocol droid would be because Anakin built him from like scratch. So maybe his programming is like slightly tweaked. So he's a fucking jackass. Whereas other like C3 version protocol droids would just be normal. Like that silver one on the Trade Federation ship.
That actually threw me for a fucking loop. I don't know why, and it makes complete sense. I was just naive about it, but I was just like, why is there another droid that looks exactly like C-3PO? I thought he was like more of like a custom made droid at first.
No, he's like a model car.
The ambassadors are Jedi Knights, I believe.
Like a kit car where
he's like a kid.
Like those Shelbys that aren't originals.
Yep. Travis Dunn says K2SO was so badass I cried. Yeah, he's the only person. That's the first time I ever cried in a Star Wars film. That's why I just feel like there's more on the line, clearly for obvious reasons. In Rogue One, I feel like there's more on the line in that movie. And then number 2 would be Episode 8. I feel like,
Stakes.
3. Episode 3, I feel like there's more on the line in Episode 3.
Yeah, I would say Rogue
First
One,
time
3, and I almost said Solo, but now I'm thinking about it. Maybe not.
No, I don't feel like.
Wait, so you didn't cry when Anakin said you're so beautiful, and Padme said it's only because I'm so in love, and Anakin said no, it's because I'm so in love with you, and then Padme said then love has blinded you. That didn't make you cry?
No, that's not what I meant. I cried at that part. I got teary-eyed. I won't lie about it. I got teary-eyed in the theater when Anakin was on fire and like screaming, "I hate you," and it was getting pretty emotional with that fucking music and everything too.
So what I'll say to that is I didn't cry, but I did. That like gives me shivers to this day. Like it's just like you can feel the rage, and that's one of the first times like the acting and like the dialogue actually really came together in the situation, and you really just felt it because
like you forget about all those other lines. Like from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Like none of that stuff matters because you see that is the birth of Darth Vader. Like you see that happening. Yeah,
the wool is completely pulled over his eyes, and he's just fuck you, best friend. Like that's fuck you, dad, half dad, stepfather,
also brother, also maybe lover.
There's 3 movies.
No wonder he's so confused.
There's 3 movies that always make me cry. Field of Dreams.
Never seen it.
I don't think I've ever seen it either.
Bicentennial Man.
Never seen it.
And Click.
See, one
talk praises about Click. I have only seen it one time. I maybe need to watch that again.
If you watch Click and you don't cry, you're a sociopath.
I'm gonna watch that shit actually.
Movies that make me cry: Jungle to Jungle.
I need like 4 more beers now.
No, I don't cry. I actually cry to TV shows more often than a movie. I don't know why. Probably because TV shows like you're growing up with these characters for so much longer than 2 hours, 2.5 hours. But I did tear up, with Rogue One. I can't really think of another movie that I really. That stuff doesn't hit me. Well, that's not true.
I feel like I got a little teary-eyed in Infinity War at some point.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it was when Spider-Man was like, I don't want to go.
Yeah, that part.
I actually just teared up watching it yesterday.
Really? I need to watch it again. I need to go grab it, actually.
I think that... Oh, Interstellar, definitely.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of when you said... whatever one of the ones you said was. I was thinking... Yeah, I was thinking Interstellar. Yeah, because I saw... Have you guys seen those script-to-screen little videos and stuff? The one from Interstellar popped up a few days ago, and I was like, I need to watch this again. It's been a few years. It's
Do you have
one of my favorite movies.
One of the original? Did you get one of the Blu-rays when it came out?
I did, yeah.
And they sent it with like that little like film thing, yeah.
Oh, I don't think
because I want one. I have one, but I don't like the one I have.
I'll trade you next time I'm in LA.
What do you have?
I don't remember. I'd have to go look at it. I haven't opened it in a while.
Let me know what you have. Because I saw some people on Reddit like trading those, trying to get like their favorite scene.
Oh, I'll be in LA. I'm going to Vegas September like 12th to 14th, so I'm either going to come to LA before that or after that.
All right. Well, if you need a couch, I got one that's just a little shorter than you are.
I'm used to my feet hanging off the edge of whatever I sleep on, so don't worry about that. Right. So Riley and JD and Jammy and everybody who's listening, you make note. We're gonna get fucking party time.
Mopar, you got to come for the drag races.
Ooh.
And the funny cars.
Wait, when's that?
Because they're awesome, dude. They do the whole NHRA thing down in Pomona by us.
Oh, when's that happening?
Usually it's, I mean, they do events all year round. I don't know when like their major thing is, but they do them throughout the summer. And then I think they have the Dodge Nationals in September.
I'm all about the drag races, man. I'll go.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I'm all about the funny cars.
Star Wars
funny cars.
We need a real like HoloNet. Someone needs to make a real HoloNet thing online. Or like every week on Sunday you can tune in and watch like fake Star Wars stuff. Like
I've been thinking about that, like making fake ad spots, like Empire propaganda, like style it after like 50s commercials and advertisements.
Or like having Padme like a fashion icon, and she's like in commercials.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
For like hair products.
Yeah, like fucking L'Oreal for Naboo or something. Shinobi says that already exists.
They do exist.
There was no father. There was no holiday. Forever, that's like my favorite quote. I don't know why. I've said that 47 times in the past like week. There was no something. I replaced father with something.
Mike Zero.
Mike Zero.
Get out of here.
Best Star Wars news ever.
I watch him with the captions on because I can't. Never mind. I'm gonna stop.
Mopar, that's your homework for before the next episode. Go watch some Mike Zero. Make yourself feel terrible about yourself.
Yeah, I don't want to publicly say anything that might flash back on you guys.
Come on, you don't want to start some Twitter drama? That's the best way to get new subscribers. Let's do it.
All right, fuck that dude. Then I can't stand his voice, and he sounds like an idiot with everything he says.
Mike Zero is a bitch.
Dude,
you heard it here first. The globalists are listening. We're gonna get shut down like Alex Jones.
Oh, no, you guys can't monetize this episode now because you cussed.
Hey, joke's on you. We don't monetize any episodes.
The show has cost me
14 dactyries. Yeah.
I never want to play KOTOR again. By the way, I got further and I finally figured out KOTOR 2. I was on Dantooine. That is the most incomplete game ever created.
Dantooine.
That's why you have to play on computer with the restoration mod.
The base is on Dantooine.
The dumbest thing. It was just like you have to go to the old Jedi Enclave on Dantooine and go through the ruins. I get there.
The door doesn't open.
You can't fucking open the door.
Hashtag
what do I have to
impossible.
do? Go talk to a motherfucker. That's all I had to do is have a conversation. I didn't have to break in. I didn't have to get a key. I didn't have to find a fucking passcode. I had to just go up to a motherfucker and say, hey. And he's like, yeah, go check it out.
That sounds like an Oblivion glitch.
Like
this door doesn't open unless you talk to one dude in the market in the other town that you just left.
Dude, the quest was already started. I was like getting into starting the quest, and it's just like, you can't start it. Go talk to that guy. He's got a hat on. Like, what are you?
Well, it's the same thing, yeah, with like the HK factory, and then like when you're on, I don't know, whatever the fucking second place you go to is, not Terrace, whatever.
Paragus?
Duxon?
Yeah. No, not Duxon.
No, Paragus is terrible too because you have to run around and talk to every fucking buddy just to get things moving.
It's like they went too all in on what people loved about the first one. It's like, oh yeah, people like their decisions make a difference and they get to talk to people and open up side quests. Okay, every NPC you have to talk to now.
What is an NPC?
Non-playable character.
Yeah, with the restoration mod on like PC or Mac, you don't have to deal with any of that stuff. Like the game's like streamlined, so pretty much you already know there's like a couple things you can't do. Like there's doors that were never finished, or like the HK factory was unfinished, like stuff like that. But Duxon is so much smoother. Even like the menu layout is just 100 times better.
The menu is very messy. Like you open that thing up and I'm like, I don't even know where my cursor is right now. I don't know what I'm changing.
Caesar just looking at the fucking inventory.
Yeah.
And on computer, it's nice being able to like hotkey your force powers. So like you just hit 4 for heal or like night speed.
Oh my God. That reminds me of Jedi Knight 2. I could just quick key shit and it would actually happen.
Sounds good.
There are I'm relearning old game shit where I gotta save every once in a while. It auto saves on all the new shit, and it's so nice you don't have to worry about it. And it obviously saves at the right moment. You're coming up to a big boss, auto save. Man, I lost half of Dantooine. I got through it, and something small killed me, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" It's like an hour and a half in.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's one thing I loved about Dark Souls, like to a fault. It was like you can't load an old save. It's constantly auto saving. Like there's no going back. If you make a mistake, you're fucked for the entire thing.
I still haven't got all the way through Dark Souls 1. I barely got into it.
I've never even touched it.
Dark Souls is fun. It's just extremely frustrating.
I would recommend definitely playing with some of us, like co-op or something. It makes
in the first one?
In any of them. It makes it way better.
I'll get remastered and try it.
Movesets are and everything. And then it's not easy, but then at least it all makes sense and you can deal with it. And get through it.
I agree. It's just a brutal learning curve. Like if you don't get it in any which way, you're gonna fucking die right away.
Yeah. You can't play it like any other game. You start running around and trying to hit people like any other game, you're gonna die.
Nope. It's the opposite of happy dancing.
Yeah,
opposite of happy dancing. You gotta like
There we go. Yeah, opposite of happy dancing. We need some Dark Souls aspect in the Star Wars universe, friends.
No joke. I want to see that. Was that the only time we ever saw it? Well, outside episode 4, I was gonna say blood, because he cuts the guy's arm off and there's like ketchup on the floor.
Which that was one of those 1977 plot holes. Like there shouldn't have been blood, but yeah.
Also, there was no bone or meat in the arm.
It was just a hollow. It was like a fucking tube.
Hollow, it's just a skin.
It was like a bloody tube.
I've never really even thought about that.
I know.
But that's the stupidest thing. There's nothing in there.
Also, like, you hear the lightsaber ignite, but you can't see it on screen, and you just see Obi-Wan just go like,
yeah,
and then his arms on the ground. Like, fucking great. That was awesome.
That is truly cringy, is the way Alec Guinness swung the lightsaber. And I know he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. He was probably not given any instruction, but the way he swings everything, it's just, oh my God, put it away.
I mean, he didn't enjoy filming it, so it comes out as his lightsaber technique.
There's that scene in the Clone Wars where Obi-Wan cuts off Savage's arm, and it literally looks like a turkey leg. Like it looks like it's just like the flesh and then the inner meat and then the bone. Like it looks like when you cut open a ham.
Like at least there's consistency in there outside of a fucking skin tube that you see in episode 4. It looks like the packing.
It's so bad. I'm pulling it up right now. I can't fucking tell about it.
Episode 4 skin tube.
Wait, do I have permission to share something?
Skin tube. Don't share anything because then it will fuck up your videos on the stream.
Huh?
Just talk about it.
Fine.
You said don't.
Fine, I'll send it to the group chat.
Yeah, just do that. It's way better.
What are you sharing here?
I'm not allowed to.
I'm actually gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna search Star Wars plot holes and see what the fuck happens.
14,000 things.
Ooh, okay.
You'll be dead.
This is a recent one. I say recent.
Oh yeah, I want to. Let's do some debunking.
They're. What is happening?
I was pulling up the video. I'm gonna put it on Mopar's screen really quick. It's like a hollow arm with blood. Oh my God. Sitting on top of a Lego fucking plate. The floor looks like it's a bunch of like Lego things. Oh my God. It's funny. So bad.
So some of these are actually... Okay, you want to run through these? Because it goes from the Phantom Menace all the way up to Rogue One.
Do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Number 1 is an obvious one. It ties Empire Strikes Back to the original or to the prequels. Obviously, Obi-Wan says that the Jedi Master instructed me, and he was referring to Yoda when the Jedi Master who instructed him was Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Clone Wars?
That's true, and it's almost like, yeah, that's kind of a stupid one, and it I don't like that at all.
Yoda instructs everyone.
Yoda instructs everybody.
Yeah. He's the elementary school teacher for the Jedi.
Well, just think. Master Obi-Wan lost the planet. Like, he was instructing him right there. Fucking idiot he is. All right, number 2, the rule of 2 is flawed. Yeah, but that was kind of the reason a lot of people say that the Emperor Palpatine fell because he didn't follow the rule of 2.
Yeah, I like that explanation way better. It's like there is a rule of the rule of 2 is flawed, but it's not. That's the reason that Palpatine ended up going down, was because he was abusing that shit left and right.
Well, and what it says here, the description, he just says this works in the prequel films, but in the original trilogy, the Emperor and Vader conspire to recruit Luke to their cause. But I always took it as the Emperor was, because it was going to be Luke versus Vader. Whoever's stronger is the one he's going to take.
They both knew it was going to be 2. Like, Emperor was like, I'm going to test you out. If you can beat Vader, then obviously I want you. And Vader was like, let's overthrow my master and we'll take control. So that was still going to be 2 and 2.
No, I completely agree.
Also, the Emperor thought if Vader wasn't willing
to kill his own son,
but Luke was willing to join the dark side, then the Emperor would kill Vader and Luke would be his new apprentice.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's one thing that Thrawn Alliances the new Thrawn book does, is it shows that the Emperor still is testing Vader and Thrawn for their allegiance.
Yeah.
But that's also just Star Wars fans wanting that to happen, because Well, okay. Well, I'm thinking because the original ending for 6 was Luke was supposed to kill the Emperor, right? Right? And he was supposed to take over and actually. But how would that work? So let's just
That's
say
not
Luke,
canon.
shut the
I don't
fuck
wanna-
up. Listen how. Listen now.
Okay.
No.
This is the problem now. Do you want to talk? Do you want to go back to your conversation about the problem with what's going on with the Last Jedi and everything?
You are the problem.
So if Luke Skywalker, I want to hear what you guys have to say. If Luke Skywalker killed the Emperor, what would have happened after that? If he
Vader
would have
would have
said, strike
seduced
me
him.
down, and Vader didn't block. Like, he fucking just halved him. I've been halved.
I've been cut in half pretty bad.
I've been cut in half pretty bad. So what would happen? Do you think Vader would have stayed on the dark side? Or do you think
what would have happened is fan fiction?
so it would have been like, I still think Vader would have been
Boobs and
saved, and that would have
47
been the
Jedi
end.
Knights and everything.
Okay, when it comes to the OT, it's like fun to like talk about or like prequel stuff, but I'm gonna get serious for a second. With what you were
Let
talking
me
about,
put my
like,
pants back on. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, 1 second. Sorry. Hang on.
All right.
with what you were talking
Okay,
about
I'm
with
ready.
like the new stuff, like the problems with the fans, I think one of it is that there's too much transparency. A lot of people don't understand how production works. So like I've talked to you guys about it before, like in the group chat, like, oh, reshoots is a normal thing. Like every major production has reshoots.
Yeah.
With Solo, thank God we had reshoots. Like things like that, like they're good things a lot of the time where like things don't necessarily mesh. And so they reshoot to make it better. But the problem is fandom doesn't necessarily understand that. So reshoots, people are now expecting that things weren't good enough. So they're going to go in questioning like it could have been different. It was different.
Yeah.
But the same thing happens with like now, like we have too much transparency where it's like, not to you guys, but like the whole like Maul originally wasn't the person that was in Solo. But it really doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter if they waited till the last second because what we have is a movie where Maul is at the end. Like that's what we should talk about. Like as fans, we should be talking about like what does this mean that Maul was the one? Not like, oh well, originally the person who wrote the script wasn't sure because like that's not the product that we have. Like,
well, the only reason
I just talked about that to get clicks, honestly.
no, it's really interesting, and I think like it does give us more.
But it's not the end result that we're unhappy with. It was because it worked fine, and I'm happy he's there.
Yeah, 100%.
It's what other options could have been that maybe they had to have been considered. But
Well, like Jabba and Boba Fett or whatever.
Well,
Jabba,
like,
Boba Fett, we didn't even talk about that. That would have been awesome. Like it makes so much sense, and that would have been so fucking mind blowing. That's how high up Boba Fett is, and Han starts right at the fucking bottom, and he has to get up.
I don't like Boba Fett in that position.
No one likes Boba Fett.
I think
I like
Maul
Boba
is
Fett.
the perfect person for that situation. It's already been established that when him and Savage were faced in that situation, Maul said, "We need to build a syndicate," and it made perfect sense. Like he's no longer a Sith, so he doesn't have that alliance. He literally has nothing to turn to, so he turns to people that he can use his power to control, and that's what crime is.
But no, I think he should be He should be a simpler character, and he should be raging hard to kill Obi-Wan. That should be his only arc.
But he's not a simple character.
I actually, by the time that he realizes where Obi-Wan is in Rebels, that pissed me off. Like, I was not a fan of Maul coming back. But as they established him and grew his character, I was like, okay, I get it. It makes sense.
He's more than just like a swordsman,
yeah, he's not a raging beast anymore. He's actually making sense. He's actually having plans. But then as soon as he has that vision and knows where Obi-Wan is, he like drops everything that he was working on.
Oh, no,
and he's like, oh, I have to go back to Kenobi and kill this fucker.
That's his plan the whole time. From the second that we meet him in Clone Wars and find out that he survived, his one plan is I am going to kill Sidious and I'm going to kill Obi-Wan.
So all the syndicate stuff is just like a means to an end?
Do you remember the Plagueis book?
I haven't read the Plagueis book, actually. That's
The
why I just
Sith's
pulled it
role-
off my shelf right now so I can go read it.
The Sith's role is a means to an end. Plagueis knows that he will not be the one that succeeds in what the Sith ascendancy was working towards. It's about passing along this whole thing. So now if you get the like Maul comes from that and knows that it's a means to an end, but now mix that with his rage, and now that he's no longer technically like a Sith, but he still has that training and he still has this mentality of like one goal, and that's it. Everything that I do, like Palpatine being a senator, was so that he could get further into this thing to where he could be at that place.
Yeah.
So Maul had one goal the whole time: kill Palpatine.
See, I thought the whole thing was that he knew that the Sith thing failed him because Palpatine turned on him and then just let him die and was going for Dooku the whole time, and that's why he went this different direction with the crime syndicate. And wanted to go back and kill Palpatine and everything.
That was his sense of like means to an end, like power. That was like what he was doing in the meantime. But the second we see him in Clone Wars, it's like Obi-Wan. That's all he wants. He wants to kill Obi-Wan.
Yeah, but see, part of me as watching Rebels thought that like that time had passed and he was on to bigger and better things and was being a little more strategic and a little more planning, and like that wasn't in his head anymore because I must have missed something. I got up to the. I mean, I've seen the part, all of Maul stuff until the part where Maul dies.
I mean, I would rewatch what he says on Malachor to Ezra. I would rewatch what he says to Ezra when they find the holocrons, and then specifically what he says when they're in the desert trying to find Obi-Wan. Like those all show that like this whole time Maul's had like one goal.
That makes me like Maul way less then.
What? He's fueled by revenge. His anger kept him alive. Like he doesn't want to change the galaxy. He doesn't want to like rule the galaxy.
He doesn't have the capacity to, clearly.
He wants to seek revenge. That's it. That's what's kept him alive. That's all he knows.
I'll have to rewatch it and reanalyze it. I thought the whole thing, I must have missed like a few, like Mopar was saying that he missed like one sentence in one episode and then he like missed a part of the plot. Like maybe I missed something. But I thought the whole point was that following the Sith ways just fucked him over again and again. And Palpatine ended up, even though Maul survived on Naboo and came back, Palpatine didn't want him. And then his whole thing was to kill Palpatine and get revenge there. But I thought he was moving on to bigger and better things and not sticking to that and like only going after Obi-Wan. I thought he was just trying to get power and start a group and everything.
I think in Clone Wars, he showed that like he understood that it's not going to happen just him going out and challenging Obi-Wan in open field. Like he knew that it was going to come down to a timing thing. And that's like the first time he sees Obi-Wan in Clone Wars, he says like, it's too soon. Like now is not the time, but he still challenges him because he can't help it.
See,
I was going to say, I feel like he
talked a while.
I know, but my last sentence before you continue is that I feel like he was onto something with Ezra. And as soon as he discovers where Obi-Wan is, he drops his whole plan with Ezra to go after Obi-Wan.
So you mean the dark side guy was fueled by his revenge and blinded by it?
But the reason I liked Maul coming back is that he wasn't just a dark side guy fueled by revenge. It looked like he had other things in place. And then as soon as Obi-Wan comes back into his mind, he drops his entire like subplot trying to seduce Ezra to go after Obi-Wan and kill him. Which now that you say that,
was they built up a character that was more than just rage, and then when the door opens, he goes right back to revenge.
That's why I was kind of pissed about it
all. Yeah, and that's why like the crime syndicate that pisses me off even more now, because that means nothing.
Because
it means everything.
Just like you were saying earlier about like you want to see something that you don't expect in the movies. Like I want to see the good guys not winning, because normally what we see is the good guys go through the thing, they happy dance, and they win. I loved seeing Darth Maul not being a Sith fueled for revenge, but having these longer plans and playing the slow game and trying to seduce Ezra and trying to build the syndicate. But at the end of the day, he just went back to fight Obi-Wan and he died in 3 slashes.
No, that's his long plan was when he challenged Palpatine. Remember, him and Savage challenged Palpatine and he failed. Miserably. And that was him learning his lesson that now is not the time. Like I can't do this in open conflict now. Like everyone's on guard. Everyone is like looking and prepared for conflict. So he does his own thing. He rises in power. He allows like controlling the crime syndicate to fuel his power. Because like, if you know, like, especially in Plagueis, they talk about how like using pawns actually makes you stronger. The more control you have over people, the stronger you are. So he uses that as like over time.
Also, Snoke says that in episode 8.
Yeah. But then when we find him on Malachor, we find out that like now he's started looking for other things. Like he's tapping back into this like Sith ritual, like this Sith history. And so we know that like he's looking for something a little deeper. I still think that in Rebels, when he uses Ezra together to find Obi-Wan, I still think that his plan was, if Ezra's looking for Obi-Wan, he's looking for Obi-Wan because he needs a master. If Maul kills Obi-Wan, then now Maul is able to take Ezra as his apprentice, because he's also looking at Ezra. He keeps calling him apprentice. So if he knows Ezra's looking for a master and Maul kills Obi-Wan, now not only does he get his revenge, but he also gets his apprentice.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
It is still the long, like he's playing the long game. It's just like he gets to mix his revenge in there with it too.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it because I guess I interpreted his loss to Palpatine as like, maybe this isn't what I should be spending my time doing, is trying to get back at my master for failing me. Like it should be onto these different ventures and everything. And of course, I know he wanted Ezra as his apprentice, but I didn't think that he needed Obi-Wan to do that. I thought he could have done that if he just, kept pushing him. Could have done that on his own, but
every
I gotta
Sith
rewatch
adventure, every Sith adventure that Maul goes on, he fails miserably.
I know. It's unfortunate. That's why I was like I said, I was really happy that I was pissed that he was back. I was happy where they were going with it, and then I felt like they kind of abandoned it just for a revenge thing.
I will say that the last thing and we've talked about it, the last thing I expected was to see Maul on screen.
Totally.
That was so
again.
good.
Like for him to be back in a movie decades after when he was canonized to death, that's just, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
Okay,
it was
number
awesome.
3. Basically, I don't even know what this word is. Parthenogenesis.
Parthenogenesis.
Yeah. So there was no mother for Anakin. They're saying that was a plot hole, and their comment to that is "come the fuck on." I like that because it's not explained. It's kind of a wishy-washy. Like there had to have been some type of birth.
What are you cackling about?
I just thought of a whole new like way to combat when people come at me with religion. I'm just gonna be like, it's a loophole.
Yeah,
it is. Everything's a loophole, honestly.
She was a virgin.
Yeah, she was a virgin. Loophole.
That doesn't add up. Doesn't add up.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I don't think that's a loophole in Star Wars. Maybe in religion, but not in Star Wars.
There's certain things that like aren't a plot hole. It's just it should be a little more mysterious, and that's okay. Not everything has to be explained to the T. I think that's what older fans were pissed about midichlorians about, was like the Force should have been a little more mysterious, and the fact that Lucas explained it with a more scientific way kind of bugged them. I like the midichlorian thing, but some things, for example, Shmi and where she got impregnated, like it's okay that we don't know exactly what happened. That's why Anakin himself is so strong and so mysterious.
But it's weird. And I know we've talked about like kind of debunking midichlorians where maybe the Jedi were measuring the Force incorrectly or improperly. Like midichlorians were an after effect of what the Force actually is or does, or they're probing the wrong anus. You know what I'm saying?
I think I know what you're saying.
I have a good analogy for midichlorians after you're done.
Well, I'm never going to be done, so hold the fuck on.
Episode 170, you can talk about your
170. We'll have you back on to complete everything. I think a more accurate description of the Force actually came from Luke in The Last Jedi. Like it's not about beings inside of you. It's not about gut health. It's about just the light and the dark.
Midichlorians live in your gut.
but it's how he explains it to Rey.
Imagine drinking a kombucha in a Star Wars game and like your Force goes up.
Your probiotic midichlorians boosted.
Sorry, please continue with your serious discussion.
It's like beers with IMUs, international midichlorian units, and it's just like you drink. Can't handle that many. I don't like too many.
Now we know what labels to put on our beer when we have a brewery in the
IMUs.
future.
I like how he explains the Force and how to interact with it to Rey.
Yeah.
Where it's like the spot in between. There's an energy between life and death. Something right in the middle there's tension. There's energy between she says light and dark, and they go on to that contrast thing, and he's like, but there's something in between, and that's the Force. He didn't talk about
levels,
symbiotic,
statistics.
microscopic things.
Yeah.
I really think, and this is just the fandom in me, I just think the Jedi were so into themselves in the prequels and so over their heads that they thought what they knew was truth, that's fact. And then after everything kind of breaks down, I really think their measurement of the Force was incorrect.
Yeah. Well,
that even though Qui-Gon is the living Force motherfucker, I think he still came from those teachings. I think he had a limited scope of what the Force is and what could be.
Yeah. Well, if you have an organization like that is kind of controlling things, and the Sith haven't made themselves known in 1,000 years, and you're gradually building this organization up and recruiting new people and growing and getting bigger and bigger, and you're now the police of the universe, essentially. Like, as that organization grows, there's no huge conflicts. Like, the light side is so overpowering. The Sith are kind of in hiding for a long time. Like, what else is there to do other than continually dissecting the Force and what is the Force and more research, and let's make up these units called midichlorians that help us level things and identify potential Force users so we can recruit more Jedi across the galaxy. Like, I feel like it makes 100% sense that they would start to do that and dissect things more and more as the Order grows.
I do actually. So it's almost like the description of the Force changes with each trilogy. Like, first it was like very mystical, living things. That's all they said. And then you get back to a very technical, very detail-oriented prequels, and then they have a description of how it works and where it's from. And now we're getting back into kind of a... Yes, Jacob.
No one that's listening knows what's happening. Continue.
Go ahead.
Please. Speak.
So I always saw it as like, I feel like the prequels are a lot about pointing out like the flaws, like we've talked about it before, like the flaws of the Jedi Order, and midichlorians are like something very tangible, like something you can count or like something you can look for. Whereas like the original trilogy and now I think the sequel trilogy is more like a feeler, like kumbaya, like this is out there. But I feel like so many people, like there's a lot of different definitions of midichlorians, and the like analogy or like metaphor that I've like started to explain to like my friends who hate it is it's like, imagine like trying to measure how bright a light is by like how many bugs are around it. Like if bugs are attracted to a light and you can't see the light, but you can see the bugs, if you can count all the bugs that are attracted to that light, then you can tell how bright the light is. Which is like, I feel like how they explained it, or how it was supposed to, or should have been explained as like midichlorians. So like the midichlorians isn't directly connected to how strong the Force is with someone. It's just like, if you're strong with the Force, then more midichlorians will tend to be like around you.
So they didn't know how to measure the light. All they could really tell was the bugs.
An effect of the Force.
Yeah. So like if there are a lot of midichlorians, then by like translation, assume that they're being attracted because the Force is so strong.
Correlation, not causation.
Which then explains how in a lot of like legends or like EU books, you see that like a planet or like a place is strong with the Force or is like a fulcrum for the Force. Then if you can measure midichlorians, then you could find out that way too. Like, oh, this place is like a hot spot of like something must have happened here, or like the Force, or like Mortis, like that type of stuff.
No, I completely understand. It's like, even now in science, like they find out black holes exist in certain areas because of the lack of gravity or the extra gravity. They're not actually measuring a black hole. They're measuring how it is affecting everything. I understand.
I felt the floor in laughter. I don't know what the hell happened.
Sorry, I'm like super into physical comedy.
It's like somebody broke into your house. It's like one of those Twitch fucking break-ins, and you like were sprinting across the room.
You just doing out of screen.
And you gave such like a calm, nice explanation. It's like, yeah, I just think midichlorians are like, they just didn't have a better way.
Or like how they tell where they think that how big planets are based on like when they block out the light of a sun. Like by deduction, you can tell like, oh, this mass, like it's that type, like, which I think is what Lucas was going for.
It's the best they can do for right now.
I think he missed on the delivery.
Number 4. The
Keep
droids
forgetting,
have a
like, middle of the
hierarchy. The droids have a hierarchy system. Like, why do they need corporals and lieutenants and all that? Shouldn't it just be like a system, like a DLC they upload? Now they do this now instead of another droid coming in to tell them what to do.
Well, that probably
Would you
is what it
trust
is. Like
would
the
you trust your-
commanders have an extra fucking algorithm or whatever that makes them be able to command.
But why don't
Yeah.
they all just have that?
Or like you gotta
Because then,
I don't know, be expensive.
well, also then like, why would they follow orders if they think that they're also valid to make orders? Like that's one of the things. Like one of the things in like military is that like the reason that people are higher up is because people then view that as like a respect level, so they'll follow them. Like they talk about
but
it.
the
in
droids
Throttle.
don't need anything to follow. You can just tell them to go.
No, because then the droids will be like, oh, I could tell myself to go. If
But
they
they
all
could-
have the same.
They don't have a physical droid to follow. They can just follow a command. They don't have feelings or emotions, and even an understanding of hierarchy.
I think what you're
unless you
saying-
download that. into them.
Like instead of having a commander droid on the battlefield, it could just be one of the Neomodians up in the ship that just says, okay,
A
this
central
battalion
server, that's-
goes
yeah.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they proved why the central server doesn't work though.
Episode 1 sucks. Okay,
Number 5.
number 5. We actually they're going by episode. So this is actually getting into episode 2. It says Padme instinctively knows where Anakin is somehow. It is never revealed that Padme has any connection to the Force nor any geological abilities. In this film, her ship is shot down while chasing Dooku's. Anakin carries on. Oh yeah. So when she falls in the sand, let her go. She ends up like at the hangar where they end up. How
You
does
mean
she
that
know?
tall ass building in the middle of the desert?
Also,
No.
the other LAAT dropped them off. I would assume that clone that she fell with would know where the other ship went.
Also,
Why?
it's a tall ass
how are they gonna know where Dooku went though?
because it's a flat desert with a tall spire.
Also, the other LAAT dropped them off. Like they know where all their fucking ships and units are.
Yeah,
That's how
I
they
would
coordinate the
put it
battle.
as a military thing where, yeah,
Yeah.
they dropped
I would
them
also
off,
think-
and then the military knew where they were, and then another.
I actually hate Weiss's description of this.
It's a desert, and then there's this really tall building, and then they just go towards that.
tall is it? This tall?
Approximately how many?
How many
Shinobi
meters?
said, and it was a tall ass building.
Yeah.
Based on last direction observed. And it was the tallest
Um,
building. I'll feel it.
So this is all kind of interesting. It's a little out there compared to the last shits that I read. Number 6, existing canon suggests Leia knew her mother because in episode 6, she recalls her mother being beautiful, kind, and all that shit. But I think those are more feelings rather than just actual descriptions.
I forget, they talked about it in something. It might have, I don't know if it was Bloodlines or Legends of Luke Skywalker, but one of those books they talked about it and they explained it as being these like Force memories, kind of, that she's able to remember like the feeling of something. And so it kind of like, you know, how, like the mind fills in the blanks, and like she remembered like kind of like the spirit of her mother. So
It could be, something along those lines where in a like a traumatic event, the Force, something happens in the Force, and even if you're a fucking child, you can kind of recall that to a certain degree.
is it ever, I feel like she could also be talking about her, I don't know, because I don't know if did we know that she was adopted by that point, or like did she know she was adopted by that point?
Well, shit. It would have to be a given because if Luke says you're my sister, one
But
of
he
them has
said
to be
that after.
adopted. Yeah, but
He said that first. He asked her first if she remembers her mother, and then he tells her.
so I do feel like there's a plot hole there somewhere. So if
She's either talking about Bale's wife, who she has thought is her mother the whole time, or she's already aware that they're not her actual parents.
well, that would be what they're suggesting though, is because she obviously remembers her own mother, the one she grew up with.
Do we know
So
how?
why would she be referring to her own mom who's still alive?
Do we know
It's almost like
if?
there's like 30 years between the movies or something.
But do we know if Bale's wife had ended up passing away or something? Like maybe Bale's wife also died when Leia was like 3.
As far as we know, she's been alive up until the destruction of Alderaan, I think.
So that
Okay.
would suggest that Leia knew from day one that she was adopted.
I don't know about day one. I think I can't remember if they mentioned it in Bloodlines, but I feel like she had known or had a feeling that wasn't her like real parents.
I'm curious
Like,
what
they
she
had-
what
they had that talk
specifically
when
she
she was
says.
12 years old. Leia, come here. Come into the bed.
You're fucking adopted. You're a Jedi. You're half Jedi.
Tell you about the birds and the bees, and also we bought you on Coruscant. So
Also, we purchased you, bitch ass.
Weren't they? Okay, I always forget that they were on some like random like.
Polis Massa.
Huh?
Polis Massa.
The asteroid.
Is that where they were?
when
yeah.
they
Like,
were born?
why?
Yeah,
Why?
because
Because
they
that's the closest medical facility.
left Mustafar and she was like on the verge of death. They had to take her somewhere.
Her will was losing it.
With those little like portal droids.
I love those fucking Polis Massa droids.
See, the only reason I knew it's definitely Polis Massa is because that's a Battlefront 2 map.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I'm curious
That's
what she
what-
actually says here.
Leia, do you remember your mother? Your real mother?
Yeah, your real mother.
She died when I was very young.
What do you?
What if she didn't know and that's how she found out?
Just images, really. Feelings.
Feelings.
You were literally 30 seconds old when
was-
she died. I guess I understand that like that's the plot hole, but they do kind of make it clear there when they're talking that like she knows all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, she knows all along that she's adopted.
But it's interesting in what me and Jacob were discussing
Good old Jake.
was kind of, and maybe I just threw it out there that in it's like a traumatic event, I feel like the Force has the power to like implant things into beings, and that's what she was recalling. There was like she didn't know how or why she was recalling these feelings and memories and pictures, but it was there because it was such a traumatic event.
I mean, she could have had dreams as a kid about Padme or something and not been able to understand why she was having the dreams because she was so young.
I wonder if there was any negative birth effects from the mother being choked by the father at that close to pregnant to birth, you know. I wonder if Leia's into
Stop.
that
Nope.
auto.
Kick me down the stairs. You didn't know I was a freak.
God. All
Throw
right,
back to our fanboy commentary. Go watch that shit for episode 3.
All right, number 7 here. In A New Hope, Vader has no idea about his children. That actually, so that has always kind of bothered me. I've kind of just skimmed over it, but the fact that he doesn't know Luke and Leia, even after that he meets, well, Luke blows up the Death Star.
I want to hear Weiss's Buddhist filmmaker perspective on this.
But I also think he wasn't supposed to be their father until obviously it was the big drop in episode 5.
Pain. Oh yeah, you killed her before your kids were born. Like I feel like he wouldn't take that at face value. He should be able to feel that they were born.
Oh yeah, well not even that. But think how often Vader and Leia are standing in the same fucking room having a conversation and he can't feel like, oh, you're also O positive? Like this is kind of weird.
I guess it's like he was so immersed in the dark side that he like cut himself off from all of his old feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, you see that a little bit in that comic
Anakin-
when he's trying to bleed that crystal. He sees those visions. He's just like, no, fuck it. I'm him here now. I'm a mechanical beast. This is what I am.
Well, Anakin's dead to him. Like this is one thing that Thrawn Alliances does really well. Thrawn keeps picking at Vader and keeps bringing up Anakin. Because like Thrawn has an inkling, like Thrawn and Anakin have met before, and Thrawn's met Padme before. So he keeps picking at Vader, and Vader keeps saying Anakin Skywalker is dead, and Thrawn keeps saying, so I've heard. And it's like pissing off Vader. And every time
Thrawn's
it comes
such
up to
a cunt.
Vader, it's like this other memory that comes with it. And so he keeps trying to like flush it away. So like the way I see it is that to Vader, Anakin's dead, Padme's dead, and the children that they never had are dead. And
So that's
even think that his children might be out there is going to go against who he is as Vader. And Palpatine will sense that, because we see that in the comic, the new comic, that every time Vader thinks about Padme or thinks about Anakin, Palpatine knows. And he's on him. And he's like, are you thinking about what you could have been? Like, are you questioning this? Like, is your loyalty with me? And we see it in like Lords of the Sith and like all those things, that every time Vader gets like tempted by that, Palpatine knows and checks him for it. So like Vader's like a dog. He's been like trained. Don't do that. Don't think about it. Don't consider it. Don't question what if or possibly. And I think that he can't tell until they know who they are. Like Luke doesn't know who he is. Leia doesn't know who she really is. And I don't think it's till the point where the two of them realize who they are, then Vader suddenly senses it. And Palpatine's the one that has to tell him, which makes me think Palpatine has known all along.
That ties in a little bit like how Obi-Wan is on hiding. Like you would think that Anakin spent his whole life with Obi-Wan, he'd be able to sense him, but Obi-Wan is such a low profile right now that like he's not putting that out into the Force vibes, I guess you would say.
Well, also, it's just since episode 3, there were no children. They're dead.
There was no Qui-Gon.
Like in episode 4, he doesn't even know to look for a child, let alone like that. That's the simple reaction to that. Regardless of his memories or Anakin or anything, his children died. So there's no reason to look for him.
A Force sensitive boy with him, maybe he should know.
Also, which leads into this next one, Luke keeps his dad's name. His last name's fucking Skywalker. Vader should have been like, wait, what's his
I don't think
fucking
they ever
name?
knew his name. Yeah, I don't think they. How would they know his name? He was just some kid from Tatooine. Like they didn't even know he's from Tatooine.
No, just why in general does Luke keep his Skywalker name and is not like Luke Lars or something? Like you'd think with how much Owen talks shit about Anakin, like doesn't want Luke to follow after his father, like he would have just named him
all memories.
Would have just named him Lars. Yeah,
all links to that. No, I think that might be. I mean, and I wouldn't even call any of these really big plot holes, but that is something like I don't know.
Well, I guess yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's obviously just for
number 6.
Actually, number 9.
Number 9.
The Imperials should have shot down the droid's escape pod right at the beginning. That's a very obvious one. The only
that's a Family Guy bit.
That's just like what's their protocol?
Just shoot.
They didn't want to do the paperwork.
Yeah, what's the protocol? There's no life forms?
No,
Fuck it.
That's actually, they didn't want to do the paperwork. That was the moment I stopped reading from a certain point of view.
This is a big one, and I've brought this up, and we've talked about it. Obi-Wan doesn't recognize R2-D2.
Yeah, that's stupid. There's some things that are just 1977, but that's just stupid.
Dude, you straight up, the entire Clone Wars banked on R2-D2 to save your and Anakin's ass.
For real.
And you have no fucking clue who this dude is?
R2 is the real savior.
When did he ever say that he didn't recognize him?
I don't ever remember owning a droid.
Yeah, you can get around it that way. Okay, Weiss, thank you for your Zen Buddhism filmmaking perspective, skateboarding ass. But seriously, like he should have at least been like, oh, I remember this blue and white dome. He saved my ass 47 times.
Also, Anakin or Vader never sees 3PO.
Never actually sees him, yeah. But then again, even if it wouldn't matter if he did, because that's just what protocol droids look like. If he doesn't remember his own fucking kids, he's not going to remember C-3PO that he built when he was 7.
I feel like that would be the spark, because he would actually realize that C-3PO could still be around.
What's the one word that's off limits?
Spark didn't.
Spark. Don't say it.
A moon.
Don't make me go through the podcast and censor it all out.
Just bleep it.
'Cause I don't have that kind of time. Number
10. Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Luke gets past the, quote, blockade on Hoth without a hitch.
There is no blockade.
I thought that was, it was
one thing gets shot, I think. That's it.
The first transport is away.
The first transport is away.
If anything, that's the plot hole.
2 fighters against a Star Destroyer.
Half of us just lived.
3 people didn't die.
3 people. Also in episode 5, Darth Vader only disables the Falcon's hyperdrive, not whole engine. What? In Cloud City, the Millennium Falcon's hyperdrive is disabled by Darth Vader's men, but that doesn't prevent them escaping. Why not damage the engines beyond repair?
Yeah, I think that because they secretly have Lando's men like disable the hyperdrive, but if they're going to do that, why not just shut the entire ship down?
Yeah, and just why don't they put that fucking boot that they put it on in Solo? Where
Well,
you can't fly with
obviously, Empire Strikes Back is terrible because they didn't do that.
that? Well, now that Jacob Boyce fell asleep, let's continue on here.
Motherfucker, it's only 8:00 there. You better grab another beer.
You better bootstrapping Bill.
I went and grabbed another one actually.
The torture droid scene, Jabba the Hutt has a droid torture chamber. Yeah, that's the one where he's
We've always talked
burning
about that.
Yeah, that is honestly demonstrably ridiculous. Let's see, number 15. Luke uses a skull to push a button instead of just using the Force. That I love that.
I hate that.
I love to hate it because it's so bad.
Well, because that's the one where, like, 6 is the one where people are like, yeah, Luke, he's finally a Jedi. Like, he knows what he's doing. I was like, dude is spinning around on a goddamn dirt floor and throwing rocks at the wall. Like, that is not the sign of a Jedi Master.
You know, I actually didn't realize. Yeah, I thought it was a rock.
Master.
They're claiming that it was a skull that he threw.
Oh, I didn't realize that either. Wow. Either way, it's fucking terrible.
Yes, some of my Rancors.
Yeah, we're talking about Luke, like, chucking things at the wall instead of using the Force to open a button. To open a button. To push a button to open something. Or why didn't just Force choke the Rancor? He just Force choked 2 Gamorrean guards.
Yeah, you would think he would have a little
You know
more.
how thick that throat is?
Doesn't matter when you have the Force. Luke
Yeah,
Skywalker.
size matters not. Number 16, Luke asks Han if he can reach his lightsaber instead of just using the Force. Han, can you reach my lightsaber?
I hate him. Why don't you just use the Force to activate the lightsaber and cut the rope?
That's
I
very
hate Luke
true.
Skywalker so much.
Yeah,
The
Anakin's
Ewoks.
puppeteering dead bodies.
Wait, the Ewoks have a dress in Leia's size, and they give it to her immediately. No one knows why. This
They
is
made
so weird.
And they do her hair.
They're super fast.
They do. They dress her up and they do her hair and everything.
Did you guys know that they made therapy Ewoks? Like, you know, there's like therapy dogs. There were therapy Ewoks for after the war that Ewoks would go and like hang out with soldiers to like make them feel better.
What the fuck book is that? And then I'm gonna buy and then burn and never read.
Probably Aftermath.
Man, some of these are just being hate troll number 4. In The Force Awakens, Poe Dameron inexplicably
Yep, it's Aftermath.
survives.
What did you say?
What did Jacob say?
He's more hammer than I've ever been.
I was saying, yeah, it was Aftermath where they made the Ewok therapy. Go ahead, Poe Dameron.
Poe Dameron survives the crash landing on Jakku and magically returns to the Resistance.
That's because he originally was supposed to die.
Was he supposed to die right then and there?
Thinks I would imagine so. Yeah,
And then they realized it was Oscar Isaac, and they were like, "Well, we got to keep this guy."
he can play
Wait,
the guitar.
how does he get back?
They don't
He just
explain
kinda
it.
shows up.
Yeah, they don't explain it. I always thought, like originally when I saw that when Rey looks out in the distance and she just sees a ship flying away, I always thought that was like a resistance ship that had picked Poe up, but I think that happens before they crash land. So that's out of the question.
So, like I said, some of these Force Awaken ones are just being haterade. Han has never used Chewie's bowcaster. Despite spending the majority of their adult lives together, Han and Chewie have never swapped weapons until this film.
Yeah, it's just a fun little thing.
Yeah, that's dumb. Maz Kanata is indefinitely wise, but doesn't notice 2 spies. That's fucking dumb too. Yeah, some of these are really
Cantina. They're probably all spies.
haterade. Rey learns to use the Force just like that. Haterade. Rey understands Wookiee language. Haterade. R2-D2 and C-3PO know each other in Rogue One.
What?
They've met each other in the prequels.
The whole prequels.
Well, C-3PO's memory is white, but they're together on Tantive 4, which is literally like 15 minutes after they are together in Rogue One. Like they're getting put on the same ship. Of course they're standing together.
Wait, so yeah, wait. Let's walk back. Let's walk back through.
And he doesn't say that he knows him. All he says is Sheriff. That's all he fucking says.
Also, they're both under bail, so it makes sense that they're together.
Yeah.
God.
They don't even. Yeah, I'm still with Cody that they don't even say that they know each other. It's just Sheriff.
They just happen to be standing together.
Hey, old pal that I've known for 40 years.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Hey, remember when we fucked people up on Tatooine together?
Remember when you saw my dick on Tatooine?
Remember when I didn't have a dick and then my 9-year-old master had to build me a dick?
He had a dick like a little Christmas light. Number 25, Leia, an important diplomat, is at the last ditch of... This is so poorly written. The fuck are you even getting at next? That's the last one. I'm done with it. Yeah.
Thank God. I was getting gradually more triggered as we went through that.
Yeah, if I hear one more person talk about Rey's Mary Sue force powers, I'm like, she's literally tricked one stormtrooper and lifted rocks.
Meanwhile, Luke Skywalker murdered 1 million troopers with no targeting computer and has never flown an X-Wing before. Knows how to fly in formation, listen to squad commands, doesn't get shot down while everybody else who's a trained rebel soldier does get shot down.
Dude, he is like an automatic military genius.
Yeah.
If I
For
got
no
in that
reason.
X-Wing, if I got an X-Wing for the first time, I wouldn't even know how to turn the targeting computer off.
Yeah.
How do you know that? Your Skyhopper didn't teach you that. Like,
I'm not such a bad pilot
I think
myself.
pretty much everyone's a Mary Sue.
It's Star Wars.
Yeah.
Everybody can do anything.
Everybody does all of it.
Unless you're a girl, then you're not allowed to.
I knew that. There's rules.
Shinobi's still talking about Vitiate.
Vitiate is he's the original Mary Sue. No doubt.
That's what he said.
Oh, Revan, long-loved character forever, best thing in Star Wars. Yeah, well, he was just controlled by this guy.
Yeah, I didn't see how he learned everything he knows, so Mary Sue.
So funny. Do you have any more lists of bullshit? Because that was kind of fun.
So
as
I
much
just
as
brought
hated
this up. The Solo film did badly because The Last Jedi sucked.
No.
No, it did badly because it came out with Deadpool 2 and Infinity War.
And had a double budget.
It's saying The Last Jedi was a historically bad film.
Oh, this is actually something Zale that put in our notes. Let me pull this up real quick.
I think I just did a spit take. Oh my god.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
Once people had seen it, they couldn't exactly get their money back. People, oh my God.
Here's your cringe for the night. Well, we've had like 8 cringes, but whatever. The change.org petition to remove The Last Jedi from canon has reached 110,000 signatures. The goal is 150,000. Once the goal is hit,
150,000.
well, because you can set it on change.org. You can like, the petition is this. If we get X amount, we're going to send it to this person. So like if they get 150,000, they send it to Kathleen and she says,
hey, fuck off.
well, no, her assistant throws it in the trash and she never sees it. And then what happens? Like, good job, guys. I just think it's fun. Like,
Ryan
if you're
Johnson
that
wants to see it.
upset, if you're that upset and you have that much motivation to like start a petition and rally people to your cause, like why aren't you starting a business or like doing something that actually values your
Why aren't
time?
why aren't you making stories? Like
Yeah.
if you want to make a story that bad, go make a story.
That's what my only complaint. It's like if you think Ryan Johnson is a terrible director for some reason, even though he's not, and you want to remake The Last Jedi, why not instead like just make your own film, make your own story, make your own book, make your own TV series?
Also, that's just bullshit. To say that someone's a bad director because they made one movie you didn't like, from someone who's like proven himself repeatedly as a storyteller and a director, stylistically and narratively. Like, I'm a huge fan of his work, and I think that's absolute bullshit to like criticize someone because they made a very specific movie that you didn't like.
Yeah, the only real complaint, like, you can complain about elements of the Star Wars universe that you maybe didn't like, but there's no way that you can say that movie was a bad movie. Like, you can't legitimately watch that and say it was a bad film. That doesn't happen. That's not how that works.
No, there's YouTube.
Yeah, you can.
Why it's cinematically a terrible film, which is bullshit. But people will make connections to things that they want to prove that don't exist.
Well, that's what I mean. I guess you could tie stuff together, but it's not legitimate. That's just, you'll be able to fucking string things along.
Yeah, I'll say the testament to how talented he is as a director and a storyteller is how seamless the first ever flashback scene in a Star Wars movie was. And the fact that he got away with it twice without ever being over the head, this is a flashback.
3 times.
Well, the third time it was referenced, but the first 2 times it was out of nowhere. And then the third time it was very obvious it was coming. But I mean, twice he got away with it where it seamlessly worked perfectly.
This is, oh my God.
Let's hear it.
In The Force Awakens, we only saw Snoke projected on a giant scale, and a popular fan theory arose that he was actually teeny. In The Last Jedi, though, we find out he's just a normal-sized, bad CGI-looking video game guy who hangs out in a beautiful throne room.
First of all, he's 9 feet tall. Second of all, he looks stunningly great, just like K2 and Tarkin did. So shut the fuck up and die. Also, he was a badass.
He was in over his head, and I think that's people are I think the big issue is they want a bad guy to be all powerful, all knowing .com/I know I'm right.
It's not how it works.
Instead of having character flaws, having human flaws in your characters,
you know what I'm surprised? Continue before I finish.
It makes Kylo look better, smarter, and more badass.
Yep.
So why are you worried about Snoke, whether he died or not, or did any of this? You knew from the beginning it wasn't going to be about Snoke. So why get all up in arms about it?
Right. You know what I'm surprised
Jacob.
about is
Jacob goes first. He had his hand up.
No. All right, go ahead.
This guy up here. Yeah, you up there.
Okay. Yeah. You look different over on this screen, just by the way. You're pointing to nothing. Wait,
Okay.
point this way.
Hey.
Wait, up here. Now we got to do the Brady Bunch thing. I've heard people complain about Snoke dying. I haven't heard people complain about Snoke being just like the Emperor in Episode 6. I find that interesting.
See, isn't Episode 6 the first time we actually see the Emperor's face on screen?
We actually see him physically, yes.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the movie, he's gone.
Dude.
So I would way more expect people to complain that Snoke is just like a ripoff of Palpatine rather than, oh, why did Snoke go out so early like a bitch, blah, blah, blah. I just find that interesting that I haven't heard anybody complain about that kind of stuff. So Mr. Jacob Jake.
Remember episodes 4, 5, and 6?
No, I don't watch those because they were too old. I don't like them.
Yeah.
How did that guy die?
He got chucked.
How did Vader die?
He suffocated.
Lost the will to live.
He lost the will to breathe.
He
lost the will to breathe.
And people want to complain about Snoke
being double crossed by his apprentice and being cut in half.
Dude,
so
that is
sweet.
so much more badass being double crossed.
Emperor that is responsible for episodes 1 through 6, all the shenanigans,
gets tossed down a chute without a C.
Tossed down a chute.
Or without an S.
And Vader dies by doing that.
By lifting. I haven't done squats. I haven't done anything.
He power lifted the Emperor and died.
Threw his back out.
Like,
it was like, Luke, I can't take it anymore.
How did what we are told is the most powerful Jedi, Yoda, how did he die?
Eating beans.
He fell asleep.
He's got too many blankets on. The blankets are too heavy for his little body.
I need more blankets and less blankets.
How did Obi-Wan die?
He disappeared.
He just no, fuck this shit.
Now compare all of those characters we grew to love and we feel so vehemently about. How did Luke die and how did Snoke die?
Good point.
Amazing, cinematic, beautiful, story-driven ways that actually on screen and philosophically like drive to push characters and the story.
Well,
That
to be
is what-
fair, Luke and Obi-Wan died the same then. What do you mean, Ash? Shut the fuck up. You're the host. I'm the host.
I'm the host.
How did they die?
They died the same. They both disappeared.
I mean, technically
No.
they both disappeared, but Luke's was way more emotional and way more invested in what was actually happening. Obi-Wan was like,
but
"Oh,
Obi-Wan
the
just
hangar
stood
door
there."
open. Oh, Luke's over there. Okay."
It's like they both ran out of gas, like ran out of midichlorians.
Yeah, but
Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan ran out of gas
because he was
Obi-Wan
old.
ran out of gas getting out of the driveway.
Yeah.
Luke
Yeah.
ran out of gas doing a cross-country sprint. Like, that's the difference.
Yeah,
Hey, fair enough.
I like it.
I don't
No,
get
that,
how people
the
are mad
worst
about
one is
that.
the worst one is definitely the Emperor just being tossed. He just
Dude.
gets tossed. Would you look
alright,
at this?
It's right because he comes back. He comes back as a clone in the EU, and like that's the story we should have gone with. And then like he trains Luke because Luke ends up turning to the dark side, and that makes way more sense than what happened in the last.
Have you
Jedi.
seen the EU Emperor body? Dude, he's jacked. He's like a blonde-haired, jacked dude.
How about Luke with
Which
two
is
U's?
inaccurate because he's redhead, so it's totally inaccurate. But whatever, it's EU, so it's holy.
He had normal nipples though.
I think that's the funniest thing about all the Star Wars stuff, and especially the EU, is like everything that happened before 1998, we should keep. Anything that's 30 years old is definitely gold, no matter what. You can never come up with anything better if you tried.
Dude, I saw a post questioning if an excerpt from Return of the Jedi novelization was still considered canon, and people were in the comment section like, ever since Disney bought it out, I just refuse to accept the new canon, like blah 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 blah, like everything else is still head canon to me. And I'm like, then what's the difference? Like when I grew up reading Heir to the Empire, that was just like an option of maybe this is what happened, and I read it and I liked it and I moved on. Like why? It's like now it's so like it has to be A or B.
Yeah. Everything's black and white now.
I'm trying to look up an original rating for the last or Return of the Jedi.
I like that movie less and less.
Oh, they tried to do a twist again. 3 movies in a row where they did a twist. I don't know. Acting was subpar.
Solo had 47 twists.
Ooh,
But in a
this one actually.
genuine cowboy, like spaghetti western way.
It was awesome. It was fantastic. I love that movie.
I don't know what is this. What's Metascore?
Han Solo.
Is Metascore
I just
a
wanna
thing?
say. I don't know.
That's legit. Yeah, it's legit.
Metascore gave it a 58%.
That's not legit.
Wait, episode 6?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's legit.
interesting. There's actually some. Wow, there's a 0 rating.
56 means mixed or average reviews.
But here's let me read this. It's a March 8th, 2015 review. Probably one of the worst film ever made. I'm reading this right here. I mean, the worst film to end to the end of the series. What the fuck is this guy doing? Even the Phantom Menace is better. The plot was terrible. I don't know why George Lucas written Return of the Jedi so awful. This guy doesn't know English yet. All right, next one.
That sounds like current Reddit.
Ooh, this one kind of gets into a little bit. His guy gave it a 20%. There's hardly any point in discussing the direction of the picture like this, in which almost every shot has been predetermined by the requirements of the special effects. Yet director Marquand fluffs the 2 or 3 real opportunities he has, rendering the long delayed character climax with chilly indifference. God, this guy's... What is he talking about?
I can see some of that. Like the gold of episode 6 is most definitely the throne room.
The last, like,
You have to wait so long to
30
get there,
minutes.
and it is kind of just CGI fluff. Like, what's Jabba's palace other than an exception to bring in 50 different species and characters and everything?
It really
Can we
doesn't
do
add
like a-
anything.
yeah, can we do like a storyline side by side of Return and The Last Jedi? Just like how much time was wasted on Canto Bight versus how much time was wasted with Ewoks, and just like compare those and be like, oh, this one's Holy Grail, but this one's shit.
Well, Jabba's palace alone is way longer than Canto Bight, not to mention also the Ewok bullshit.
Yeah, but Jabba's palace is like Ocean's 11, so it's tight.
No, it's not.
Maybe.
They torture droids in the basement.
I do actually.
but
I've watched the despecialized for 4 and 5. I haven't watched the despecialized for 6 yet, so I might change my
way
mind.
better.
I might change my mind.
6? I think 6 and 2 are my lowest.
Yeah, I think so. Actually,
Are you
based
worse-
on our,
worse-
actually, it may be time to do another ranking here on the Rogue Squadron.
You're saying 6 is your least favorite next to 2?
No, 6 and 2 are like at the bottom as
That
far
was-
as like watchability.
That was ours as well. Yeah. The bottom of our list was 6 and 2. I think it was like 4,
still
6,
think there
2 for
needs
us.
to be 2 lists. There's like the ones that you think are the best and the ones that you can like for watchability. Because I think those are 2 totally different lists.
Best versus favorite. We've been arguing about that since episode 1.
Yeah, because obviously, like episode 3 is not the best, but I watch it more often because everything happens in
Oh,
episode 3.
Good.
I fucking love episode
Cinematic
3.
movie. I know, but cinematically, it's a legitimate like movie.
That's true because there's a lot of. They were peaking. Oh, obviously, they peaked at that time. It was the most recent thing ever created. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff in that movie that I really liked, and the CGI was on point for the time, even for the time.
Well, it was like a contemporary action point in cinema too. Like people started to want more action in movies that like it made sense that Revenge
Dude,
ended up that way.
Grievous had 4 lightsabers. 9 out of 10 right there. That's perfect.
I hated it as a kid.
Did you really?
Yeah, he was like,
Dude, that is fun. If I was 5 years old, I would have been like, dude, that guy's got 4 of them.
I was 17 years old and I was like, oh my God.
how old was I?
Yeah, I was 17,
I was 16 actually.
16.
'Cause
I
it came
watched
out in
it
May.
twice. I watched it back to back the first night.
I think we
Like
saw it
opening night?
twice.
Yeah. I was mad too because like when we sat down to see the first viewing, I think we saw it at like 1:30, and someone like the theater next, like the direct theater next to us was already watching it, and I could hear all the loud action from the theater next door, and I was like, just covering my ears. Like I didn't want to hear anything. Like I didn't want to hear blasters. I didn't want to hear anything.
Dude, episode 9 is going to be a religious experience in the theaters.
If it's not, we're all gonna. I'm
No, I swear
boycotting.
to God. Like 7 was fucking huge. 8 was an experience. Rogue One and Solo were great to watch, but I think 9 is going to be like a goddamn mecca of anything that's ever happened.
I have a feeling,
What's your feeling?
good feeling about this.
Tell me about it.
That regardless, the fact that they have JJ back, who set up this whole story, wasn't he a co-writer for all this too?
He was producer for 8 and writer for 7.
Yeah.
Dude, he's had his hands in all of it. So who better to end the thing than the one who began it? But also with all the upheaval and uproar with episode 8 and it being different, this could be the one that just wraps it all back in and just makes episode 8 better. Even for the people that hated it, it'll make it better.
Yeah, that's the hope. He's co-writing this one with the guy that did BVS also, which has me excited because I really like BVS. You know, I've talking mad love about that forever.
Did you guys see the rumors about it possibly breaking into 2 movies?
That's stupid.
Oh, I don't like that.
They're not going to
if
do
it gives us
episode
another
9 part 1.
5 hours of content, I don't know.
I mean,
But
if
if no 0%. What they should do is just if they're gonna continue it, just make an episode 10.
yeah,
No, they won't break that trilogy.
That could be one of the best things they ever did because now they're not limited to. Now we have to make another shitty movie just to make 3. Just do what the art needs.
The rumor is that they have almost everyone tagged on to be able to continue their story except for Kylo, because they want, from the rumors, that they want to break away from the Skywalker trilogy like format, and since Kylo's technically the last Skywalker, that if he dies off in 9, then they could continue on with like Rey, Poe, Finn, or they
I'd
could
be
kill
fine
him off
with
at
that.
9.
but that's
Then,
not
like,
not really like an episode 9 part 1 and 2. That's just like setting up the next trilogy of 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Unless something like I was discussing earlier, where there is like an overall evil that they have to face, and Kylo dies in defending Rey or defending something like that, then they have to go into like an episode 10 where it might actually be Ray, Poe, and Finn trying going after this overall evil big boss.
I have a question. for you guys.
Shinobi said that rumor was started by Mike Zero, so don't listen to it.
Yeah, don't listen to him. No. I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
Would you, how would you feel if we got a major villain or like a major opposition that were extremely alien, like not human at all?
I think,
Or would that, go ahead.
Personally, I would be hard as a rock because that's exactly what I've always wanted. And no joke, I fucking love it. That's a big missed opportunity with all the other ones. Like the fact that Maul wasn't was like, holy fuck, that's so fucking cool.
And then of course Dooku was again. So Maul's like our only one. That's what I love a lot about Snoke too. Snoke is not a human, obviously.
They never really talk about what he is.
They don't really discuss it, but he's obviously way bigger. Like he's 8 feet tall.
Like they say like near human. I think the thing with me is I worry about it becoming too like, like Shinobi said, use on Vong. Like I would not like that. Like I don't want anything that's like overtly like Star Trek alien or like somebody like that where they have like spikes. I mean, Maul, but like Maul is an established.
What about Thrawn?
Thrawn's just blue.
That's what I was going to. Chiss, oh my god, they've been building at this for so long. Like the Chiss ascendancy in the new Thrawn Alliance's book, they talk about how the Chiss not only keep intense records of conflicts that they're in, but they watch other people how they're doing it. And then he joins with the Empire because there's a bigger threat in the unknown regions. So there's like this bigger thing. So the talk now after alliances is like, oh, are the Chiss interested because they want to ally or interested because they want to know their possible future enemy? So like, I'd be totally down with that. I just don't want like an overtly like Doctor Who, Star Trek, like reptilian, like the very like stereotypical space, like sci-fi villain species. Like I think that could ruin some of the legitimacy of Star Wars.
Wait, I'm just assuming it would be like one dude and he just wouldn't be a human. That's all.
I don't know. I think we have to see like a full like force, like a full like fleet. That would have to be a challenge or opposition. Or what? That's just an alien that's running a bunch of more humans. That's what I'm saying.
I'm glad you brought up Thrawn. So the rumor is that this guy is going to be Thrawn.
We'll see.
So Richard Grant is cast for episode 9. So people are obviously, that's the first thing people say is like, yep, paint him blue. That's fucking Thrawn. No joke.
Paint him blue.
I like that you say that though. That's cool to hear some of those details about the Chiss and how they fucking deal with their like long-term plans to get shit done.
They also have force sensitive youth that have precognition.
Now you're pissing me off.
Now I'm triggered. Let's get into it.
No, it's just like what I don't know what would be a true enemy if something else was introduced. Like it has to come from within. It has to be. Maybe it's not an army. Maybe it's like just a deterioration and everybody's lost control and it's like almost anarchy. No one's controlling all of these planets anymore. So now they're all just running fucking loose.
I'm torn. I'm really torn on wanting some like mysterious unknown regions Sith dark side thing that's pulling the strings behind the scenes versus like let's finally get down to the nitty-gritty of humans and different species and different planets like struggling against each other for like a set government or something like that. Like I think getting down to the basics of that would be cool, but I also kind of want like Snoke to have this bigger play where maybe he was an apprentice of somebody that was even higher up or something. I don't know. I'm torn between
Mortis. It's all going to come back to Mortis.
I really think it could come back to the Knights of Ren. They could play a big fucking part in this, and where Kylo goes back to the Knights of Ren and they have different ideas than the First Order do. So he starts splitting off or something. Now there's 3 factions involved.
Yeah. Well, if you think 7 and 8 have taken place over a week, maybe It's logical that they haven't shown up in the movies because it's only been a few days.
Well, I'm wondering, like, why does Kylo need the First Order now? Luke Skywalker's dead. So he can go off and go back to the Knights of Ren. His Knights, I guess. What would you call them?
Well, the First Order was against the rebellion, or what do you call it? The Republic and the Resistance. Snoke was leading the shit, and he had his ulterior motives. But at the end of the day, like, the army was against the Republic.
Yeah, but why? Where does Kylo fit in with it? Because he wasn't really a part of killing the Resistance. He wanted to kill the Jedi.
That's why I'm so curious about Snoke. Like, why? What did Snoke do to pull the grandson of Anakin Skywalker away from Luke and training and everything?
Well, apparently Luke and him, it's hinted that him and Luke have met before.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Snoke and Luke.
And possibly the Resistance is responsible for some of this, the scarring and everything that he has.
Well, and
there's got to be some
the reason
shit,
Kylo stays with the Resistance is probably because he knows his mother's still alive, and his mother being that beacon of hope. See, I didn't say spark of hope. Speaking.
Wait,
spark.
do you mean what do you mean the reason that Kylo stayed with the Resistance?
Instead of him like breaking off and doing his own thing with the Knights of Ren.
You stayed with the First Order, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Confused.
I haven't had enough to drink.
I can tell.
Oh, okay. Can you, Dick?
You just really think about drinking more beer than a shot. This is about stars.
I haven't thought about thoughts in a while. No,
I want to see him getting like turned away. Like, that's huge. That's pivotal. The last Skywalker. And like Luke doesn't want to start a temple and is finally convinced to start a temple and like start training people. Like, he's kind of resistant to it. I want to see what goes down there and what Snoke does to pull Kylo Ren away from that.
There needs to be a Luke Skywalker animated series. Like, why don't they just give us a 3-season Adventures of Luke Skywalker? Everything that takes place between Return and the Force Awakens, or maybe even ending up with him finding Octo and just leaving that open.
Yeah.
But just like, because that's one of the things about the book, the Legends of Luke Skywalker, like, they do a good job at setting up like what Luke could have done, because they're all like legends, like none of them are like confirmed. But him just out searching for stuff and coming across like weird places and like Jedi ruins, or like maybe Luke visiting Jeddah, like as an animated series, that'd be cool. And they could still do like the childish, like morality, like hope driven stuff, but still like developing Luke to where like he's helping people, looking for stuff, like questioning everything.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been such a, with all the drama that came from The Last Jedi, that would have been such a good move.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've heard some people say like they want some Luke Skywalker content in Resistance when it comes out. But I'm just worried that such a big fucking storyline like Luke and his new Jedi Order that didn't happen, it can't be like Ahsoka popping into Rebels for a few episodes, you know? Like, I don't want them to try to write off some of Luke's storyline by just throwing him into as a few cameos in Resistance. Like, it really needs to be its own thing.
Yeah. I think that the best way to explain everything that happened with Kylo is like an animated series.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would work so well. And like, dude, Mark Hamill would show up and voice act that in a heartbeat.
100%. Yeah.
And like having like a little kid Kylo running around causing trouble, and Luke like having to deal with like, is this serious? Is this not? Like, him talking with Han, him talking with Leia, like showing that, like making it more personal it would do the same thing it does to the prequels. So it would add more to Kylo.
Anakin 2.0, man. Yeah.
Oh man, imagine like an Anakin and Snips relationship, but with Luke and Ben Solo.
That'd be so awesome.
Oh man.
I also want like a comic series of Snoke. I know I keep harping on it, but like,
I'm okay with that.
No, I'm not, man. I'm not pissed. Like, I like that he's mysterious, but at the end of the day, I would really love some information about Snoke.
I like him being mysterious and just a big question mark. It took a whole trilogy to describe what the fuck a Palpatine was.
What the fuck a Palpatine was. I don't know, man. Like I said, I think I think Luke trying to bring back an order and Kylo ruining it because of the influence of Snoke is way bigger than we're giving it credit for. So I think a Snoke trilogy of books or a comic series or something could explain that in more detail.
Yes.
Well, here's a. What's it?
I am struggling to think of something that would be like a final evil, even something that they might pull from some crazy little
Trade
one
Federation.
word
Trade Federation. Guaranteed. New Gunray's coming back. Oh wait, he's
trade
dead.
disputes.
New Gunray is a Force Ghost. That's what I want in episode 9. That's what I was saying like 15-ish minutes ago or something. Like I'm torn between wanting that bigger overall epic evil versus maybe it finally culminates in just the struggle with a few groups of people. And it can be on a more human level and something that's a little more down to earth, down to the universe.
Can I do my if I was writing it?
Yeah.
All right.
And then I'm gonna do mine.
Tits everywhere. It starts off with tits.
All right, so we start off with a scroll, and down the scroll, there's just the words in yellow and tits in the back.
Instead of stars, it's boobs.
In Thrawn Alliances, they hint that Thrawn as a child may have been Force sensitive. So like the Chiss, it's usually females, but the Chiss can sometimes be born Force sensitive and have precognition, which allows them to like travel throughout the unknown regions, and then they grow out of it. So it's kind of hinted that Thrawn might have been Force sensitive at some point. If I was writing it, obviously I'm biased because I like have read all the Thrawn stuff. The Chiss have been out there. There's, as far as we know, they're still out there. They watch everything. They practically know everything. I would like to see something where their understanding of following the Jedi and the Sith, if Thrawn or any of the other Chiss end up being Force sensitive, that they're the ones that have come to understand that it's all about balance, like the light and the dark. And they swoop in while the First Order and the Resistance are having their fight, or after the First Order fails or whatever, and they come in and they have a chance to like, that's their chance to move. Because like, as far as we know, they've been watching the Clone Wars. They were watching the Civil War. Like they're watching all this stuff, just as far as we know, waiting till that right moment. And if this is that moment where they move in, I think that capping off 9 with bringing the Skywalker saga to an end, I think there's also a chance to introduce a new threat. Like not having 9 about the new threat, but introducing a new threat. So where 9 finishes is like, we've come to this like finish of the First Order versus the Resistance. And even though like if the Resistance ends victorious and like Rey is able to start a new order, or like Poe and the others move on to like start a new government, whatever it is, I think that 9 has to end with the introduction of a new threat.
I disagree.
Because if not, then if they ever decide to move forward, you think it should end just like everyone holding hands?
If I was directing it, this would be not only the end to this trilogy, it would be the end to all Star Wars films that we know. What I mean by that is, I mean, this is going to be, like, I'm picturing this connection between Kylo and Rey being the downfall of everything, by people start questioning like Rey's motives because she's got this connection with this evil fuck, and something's going to happen where the Resistance and the First Order are going to start crumbling from within, and they're going to actually, it's going to end on the battlefield. It has to, where they both kill each other almost, and there's like one individual or maybe like 2 people that get out of it, and we are left with just that. Where after all this culmination, all these murders and the Empire and the Resistance and the Rebellion, and it all comes crashing down to like just the simplest thing that's left. That it doesn't have to necessarily be like a pure, I don't know. Like there's just DJ left, and he's like, maybe.
That'd be the best ending of 9 ever. So is the war finally over?
He's counting his money in the background. Maybe. Told you.
Yeah.
What I say?
No, I think that would be. I think that would be an awesome. That's what I would hope.
I worry about if they're gonna move forward after this. I worry about like I worry about them ending 9 in such a good, happy place that if they ever do expand 20 years, 30 years, 50 years in the future for episode 10, then everyone's gonna be like, oh, well, I thought we were done at episode 9 and everything was good. So like, I like the idea of them introducing this impending threat, even if it's not immediate, but I do think that they need to put something in there that like, this could be an issue.
I think something
like having a Sith holocron somewhere, even though Rey started a new Jedi Order, but there's a holocron hidden somewhere there, like something like that. Like this, the root of evil.
But the root of evil is internal. I don't think it has to be like another species coming out, because like, think back to KOTOR. It was the Mandalorian Wars. The Mandalorians thought we should run this bitch, and Revan said, probably not. So, and then that was the conflict. Why couldn't it just be a species thinking, dude, the humans have been fucking around and fucking everything up. Let's just take everything over. And then it just starts another conflict. Like, it has to be a little more political than...
Well, it's kind of what Palpatine was doing.
Well, yeah, but it was, again, still a failure.
Yeah.
And it was all strife and conflict. So I feel like some other people should just try to wipe it. But
I think I would love to see something that isn't on such large terms. Like, if you think about the 1,000 years where the Sith were in hiding and the Jedi were cool and the Republic was operating pretty good for a while, like, there was guaranteed shit happening behind the scenes. Like, there could be stories of the Jedi are dealing with this dispute on this planet or whatever, but it wasn't on a galactic scale where the entire fucking universe was at war with each other. Like, if we end up at the end of 9 going into episode 10, if they even make episode 10, and we're just back to like another giant galactic struggle, I feel like that would just be like rehashing shit over and over again.
I think, though, if you're going to simplify it to a smaller scale, that's what the standalone movies are for.
True. And
these trilogies are large scale, and that's what have always been about.
And episode 9 could very well end trilogies.
The large scale. Dude, I'd honestly be happy with that.
Well, I shouldn't say trilogies because obviously we already know Rian Johnson's thing is a trilogy, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Like, it's short-sighted to only portray what's happening in the universe as giant galactic scale Civil War nonsense that's like affecting everybody.
Well, after everybody's dead in my thing,
after Kylo kills everyone,
everybody will die, and at the end it'll just be a forced projection of a child
come in and they just like fuck everything up. Oh wait, the chips are controlled by a child
and then
hologram.
You put in the next disc and you get to carry over your character. I think it'd be cool to have something where like something like Mortis, where it's like,
what is Mortis?
Shit
explain the shit
from Clone Wars, where it's like shit is hit the fan everywhere in the galaxy because of this one imbalance. So like, you don't have to go fix everything in the galaxy. You just have to fix this one thing. And then that by chain reaction over time will fix everything else. Like that balance thing, like everything we've seen so far, I feel like the prequels did a really good job at this, but like original trilogy and sequel trilogy has been about like defeat this enemy, we fix this thing. But that's not true, because like OT, they defeat the enemy. And now in sequel trilogy, we're still facing the same evil technically. But like prequels does a good job about like, even though the Jedi are flawed, they think that by what they're doing, it will bring balance and it'll like even everything out. But
there is no end game. I feel like there is no end game in the Jedi's point of view. In
long term, no. It's just like momentary. It's like this like tangible like victory.
You have to do this to keep balance, because if you don't, it'll be tipped the other way and evil will. Yeah, it's like just a constant struggle. There's no winning.
So that's why I'd like to see something that's like more spiritual along those lines, where it's like, if our goal isn't technically victory or like defeating someone, it's about like restoring things, like bringing them back. And like whether that's like kind of, I guess, like how Luke saves Vader, like that's the redeeming act that brings balance back for that time period. But like something like that, where I guess the reason I like Mortis is because in Clone Wars, it's something that they don't understand. It's like a maze that they don't know how to get out of. It's a problem they don't know how to solve. And in the Clone Wars, Anakin technically fails. Like in Mortis, he falls to the dark side because he sees what he will become, and he joins like the Dark Brother. And it's like the father and Obi-Wan showing up that's able to bring him back, and the father wipes his memory of everything he saw of Anakin's future. So it's like that type of stuff where I guess that's more of like the Lord of the Rings type of thing, where it's like you're not necessarily fighting for victory, you're just fighting to push back evil. Like that's something I want to see reach.
There's no end game.
Like, I was just gonna say, like,
it's impossible to win as a Jedi.
You're constantly just trying to push back that evil and stall it.
Like Luke really busted the shit open by explaining how it's all about balance, the light and the dark. So if you're talking about like movie and like story perspective from like a good guy's point of view, like you can only do so much on the good side before something has to come along to throw things out of balance again. So it's just going to be an endless stream of conflict and fights.
You know what's funny is if Rey just at the beginning of episode 9 just said, "Oh, Kylo's killing a bunch of people because the Jedi are still around," she stabs herself in the heart, killed herself. Now Kylo, there's no reason for him to be pissed. That's the end.
Kylo is just going to make up shit to be pissed about.
This computer's running slow.
He doesn't understand the balance. Yeah, motherfucking MS-DOS on my goddamn shit. Get out of here.
There's a girl.
What girl? Yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious where they take that. I think Luke really drops some info about the Force that kind of changes things going forward. Not to mention the Force powers that we've seen in Episode 8, but just the way that he finally explained it, where like the original trilogy was very esoteric and the prequel trilogy was very detail oriented, and then Luke finally in Episode 8 like has an overall perspective of how the Force is supposed to work. And even though he did come out of hiding to fix his past with Kylo and kind of help out the Resistance, what he said really makes an impact on where we're going with Star Wars and with the Force and with the Jedi and the Sith and the dark side and light side and everything else.
What if Kylo ends up doing like some straight up like samurai suicide shit for like his honor?
What does that mean?
You know, like I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. It's like seppuku or seppuku, like where the samurai would like take the sword if they like done anything dishonorable. And like Kylo realizes that his dark side is just like feeding into others.
He's causing
like,
all the issues. So he's like, I'll just take myself out.
Yeah. I also want to, like, so bad. I want to see it finally get to the point where someone realizes that too many Jedi is imbalanced. Too many Sith is imbalanced.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's about this, like,
wouldn't you call it balance now?
Part of me wants the Sith, like, to just be able to go fuck off the unknown regions.
What if Kylo and Rey just like make a fucking peace treaty?
Yeah,
and he's like, I'm gonna go research holocrons. You can fucking.
It's like Salisbury Hill plays in the background. They both just walk off in opposite directions. Kylo flies off in the unknown regions. She goes to Naboo and call it a fucking day.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I call parlay, and then they just walk up and shake hands and
fucking spin around a vortex for a half hour. Yeah, if only that would happen. That'd be nice. Yeah, I guess
the only reason it's imbalanced right now is technically there's more good guys because Leia's still alive. So we got Leia and
see, that's
unless you count the Knights of Ren, and we don't know how many of them are Force sensitive.
Also, we're only counting people that we've seen on screen. Like this is a weird thing about the balance part is like Snoke is in the forefront and Kylo is in the forefront and Rey ends up in the forefront. But how many people are out there on the sidelines or in hiding or in the unknown regions that people don't even know about that are, I don't know, like someone like Maul that's just in the background, like running a crime syndicate and feeding off the dark side. Like, does that throw things out of balance too? Or is it only like the main characters?
How many people lived through the attack on the new Jedi Order? Like, we're just assuming everybody died, but I'm guarantee you, depending on how large the class was, I mean, what are we talking, class of 30?
He said a dozen.
What's the graduating class?
Wait, really? He said a dozen?
Yeah,
he said a dozen.
Does that actually mean 12? Probably not.
Or does he say he left with a dozen?
A Jedi
I took a dozen Jedi, or I took a dozen students or whatever. Yeah.
A Jedi's dozen. I think that's 16.
And guarantee Kylo tried to start a mutiny and he didn't. Some people were like, no, I believe in Master Skywalker. And they got fucking cut down.
I believe a Jedi's dozen is only 15. Fuck you. And then they.
Also, if Rey's vision was a flash forward, does it in this movie that we'll see in the rain with her and Kylo killing one of them?
That's a good point. I always forget about JJ's flashback.
Yeah, you got to
Flash
think.
forward.
What if flash forward possibly? Yeah.
Flash
What
present.
But he's wearing
What
the
about
mask
it?
too.
Huh?
if what if he goes back to the Knights of Ren and they start freaking out and they try to kill Rey and he actually starts defending Rey and he ends up trying to kill all the Knights of Ren?
You just changed my entire perspective on everything right now.
I'm allergic to your idea.
Yeah, because they're tied. I feel like
I'm allergic to canon.
they might end up that force connection might end up fucking with them a little more than you think. Just like Kreia, where like when she gets hurt, you feel it. So when Rey starts like feeling crazy, or if she's affected or threatened, Rey or Kylo's gonna be like, "Oh shit, this is fucking with me too. I better defend her so I don't die."
Fuck.
They really just pushed that the connection in 8 really hard.
Here's where I love the fact that Maul was a nobody as far as the script goes for Solo. I think things can be happy accidents as far as the Star Wars timeline goes. Like they can plan certain things out well in advance, and other things can kind of just stumble into place and be a happy accident. Like I wonder if maybe Ryan didn't have JJ's vision from Rey's Force vision from Episode 7 in mind at all, but there are just certain things that could conveniently just connect between Episode 8 and Rey's Force vision. And in 9, Rey could be wearing a hat like this, like Mopar has on right now, and as it slides off the back of her head, I don't know, like things could just randomly fall into place and just make perfect sense. There's so many things in that Force vision that you look at, you're just like, what does that mean? Is it an actual thing? Is it a real vision? Is it a flashback? Is it a
Flash forward.
flash forward? Or is
hope
it
it's
just
not as-
the
I
lightsaber
just-
trying to get her fucking attention? Like, what is it?
I just hope it's not as simple as like a bloodline, where it's like she actually ends up meaning something all of a sudden.
Well, the thing
I
that
don't know.
trips me out is like she touches the lightsaber and gets the vision. And you think for a lot of the time that it's the lightsaber showing her where the lightsaber has been. Because you do see that whole scene on Bespin and everything where Luke was fighting Vader. Like, is it showing where the lightsaber has been or is going to go? Or is it not about the lightsaber at all?
I don't
Weiss.
know.
It's both. I don't know. There's some stuff at the end of Rebels too that might end up hinting at the Knights of Ren also, as far as a character that might be a part of it.
I would just love to see them come into play and cause issue with the First Order, or Hux and his grievances with Kylo just cause issue with like the command of the First Order.
Oh man, I want to see Hux say some shit and then like one of the doors opens on a Star Destroyer and the Knights just walk in and Hux just like chokes on his words and they're all just standing behind Kylo. Oh man, that'd be so cool.
It'd just be cool because for the dark side, we've never seen an order. It's always two. We've always seen Palpatine and Dooku, Palpatine and Maul.
This is
Palpatine
again
and
gonna be the
Vader.
first time it's
Like, it'd be cool to see like a Jedi council of motherfucking badass dark side assholes coming after people.
I wonder if there could
there's
just be
so many things they could do.
I wonder if there could be a conflict maybe the First Order is the conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Like Hux starts going fucking crazy because he's not getting the cocaine he needs. And
It's going through withdrawal. It's trying to kill planets.
well, just like the Knights of Ren and the First Order are at odds, and they start,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because I feel like if you're gonna put it off like 8 years, that's some serious shit, and I don't know.
There's a few things they have to tie up, but there's a lot that they could just, the door is wide open. He can kind of do whatever he wants for a lot of things.
They're gonna pull on history though. You got to think of what
I'm
brought
sure
shit down.
I'm sure they have this entire thing already set in stone. Well, they started filming, so guaranteed they have it set in stone. Fuck, man.
I'm thinking, what if they do like another super weapon? But it's not obviously not like a big round death ball, but
I don't think they will. I think this one's going to be about personal conflict.
I hope so. I think 8 was kind of a bridge between like galaxy-wide shit
Yeah.
and personal conflict.
It's going to be more like episode 3, I think, where it's going to come down to a big duel. It's going to come down to a difference of opinion. I think it's going to be more personal.
what if are we gonna see any Sith eyes?
That's
Because
something to
even
think
for
about
how
too.
pissed
Like,
off Kylo gets, he's still pretty.
Like, what if Kylo, with Snoke out of the way, what if Kylo is like realizing what his grandfather was, and since basically Rey turned him down at the end of 8, he's gonna go all in, like Vader deciding to go all in on the dark side, and he goes and hunts down, like maybe he goes, you brought up Mustafar, maybe he goes to Mustafar to see Vader's castle, maybe he finds Sith holocrons and like finds a way to commit himself to be a Sith Lord and kind of reinstates the Sith Order.
But there's no personal strife there. There would be, even if he like found shit out, like what's the thing that burning emotion in him that I need to do this because it's for the better of.
Well, what is he finishing what Vader started? Like, what does that mean? Is he actually going to do it or what? He says that in 7.
What does he start?
Vader starts a lot.
Start some shit.
He starts some shit. But like Kylo, he says that as a cool line looking at his helmet, but he never really, like, do we know what he's talking about in specific?
See, that's why I think it's a good idea. JJ's wrapping it all up because he left a lot of loose ends in 7, and a lot of them weren't even close to being answered or even mentioned in 8.
Right.
But like we're talking about the Knights of Ren, man, everything's and the vision. That vision's probably key. Also, are we just gonna sit here and like that vision that Rey sees in Darkseid asshole? Like, is that supposed to just be the fantasy fluff, or does that actually have meaning behind it? Are we gonna have that explained out?
That's something that I still don't 100% understand. Yeah,
I think that's just like a specific moment where she's trying to find out where she came from, and I think it's just kind of saying it doesn't matter. Like, you are you.
All she can see is herself. That's
all that matters.
Well, yeah, and maybe she's looking for a past, and all you can see is the present. This is all you see is what's in front of you.
I think it's a dichotomy too, with like how Kylo is literally saying like, I'll finish where you started, and I think like he's saying that how Vader wanted to wipe out the Jedi, and it's so much driven on the past and like revenge and like finishing what came before, whereas like Rey now is being faced with like, I have to deal with what's in front of me right now. Doesn't matter where I came from, doesn't matter who my parents are, like I have an issue in front of me that like I need to solve, and I need to take care of those that are around me.
Drop all your baggage.
Yep.
How strong do you think Rey's going to be? If let's say there's like an 8-year period between or something ridiculous like that. Let's call it 3 years.
I hope she just rages. Like, I hope she finally is like the Jedi that can do like, I hope she's like Bastila, like whether it's like battle meditation or whatever. I hope she does some shit that we would consider dark side, but that she can do and like still have control over herself because she's so clear and that she wants to do the right thing. What is it like if you bump up like your charisma, or there's something in like Knights of the Old Republic 2 where like if you have a certain stat really high, you can use dark side powers.
What?
Constitution. Yeah, it reduces the penalty for using the opposite side.
So I think if your constitution is really high, you can be a Jedi but use like dark side force powers.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I think of when I think of Rey. Like she could do some shit like Force Storm, which is like would be considered like a dark side power, but for her it's just like nah, like I got
it's a force power. It's just an ability that I can use.
I don't know if I want to see Daisy really spitting electricity out of her fingers.
I do want to see her with a double lightsaber. She needs a double blade.
A double bladed blue would be fucking badass.
She needs to just be like the reincarnation of Bastila Shan. Like that'd be so tight.
No, that's exactly what I'm hoping, honestly.
Yeah.
But awesome. How would a galaxy run by the only Jedi of Bastila Shan look like? Very sexy. Very, very sexy.
Some arm sleeves.
Fat ass. No, I don't know. A lot of questions. I hope there's just an army of HKs and they're all the fucking meat bags.
HKs versus K2s.
Dude, what if it's just like Terminators coming back?
And Rey's John Connor.
What if the little droid rebellion in Solo actually dominoed into...
That's the spark.
That turned into just an uprising and everybody... That's the issue, is we can't trust droids because they're going to murder you.
Hey, Palpatine in 3 said all droid armies must be shut down immediately. He didn't say destroyed, so maybe they go and find all the fucking disabled, shut down. Yeah. reactivate them and fucking Roger. You got a whole new army.
They actually, in the Thrawn book, they reactivate some buzz droids, I think.
Buzz droids.
Yeah, to get that Tabana gas.
Yeah.
So many references to the past.
Oh, there's the droids in Tarkin too.
Oh, really? I started
remember that,
talking,
actually.
that was so military
Like
political.
the first like 3 chapters. There's like a droid army.
Droid army. I don't remember that at all.
I don't remember that either.
There's vulture droids. It's like I think it's like 14 humans that are on a ship when they do like that fake transmission relay from the other outpost.
I don't remember that at all.
It's been like
0%.
3 years. Yeah, I don't remember that.
That's how good it was. All right, guys.
Yeah, I gotta pee really bad.
We're going to end this right.
I think we're almost at 4 hours, so it's about as good a time as any to end things.
So I can go pee now.
No, we have to close the show out. The ending of the show usually takes about 25 minutes.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to wait.
We would like to thank our sponsors. Legos.
Kuwait Drive Yards.
Disney.
Johnsonville Brats.
Oh, I just got my Venmo from Disney.
Your Vimo?
My Venmo. They just paid me for saying good things about them.
Oh, bing.
I get paid through PayPal from Disney, actually.
Okay, yeah. I have them set up with Venmo.
Mouse Incorporated LLC just sent me,
Oh, it looks like my stripper's ready.
$470 for talking good things about Star Wars. Communications
All right,
disruption.
guys. The worst episode of all time. Episode 156.
Second worst. I think the last time I was on was the worst.
That was
By
probably
far.
guaranteed because we talked about Solo, which is obviously a failure. So
When is that's got to come out in film here real soon.
Yeah, when's the second? It was so
Get
bad.
outta here.
It was so bad. When's the second one?
I think there'll be a well, I'm not even going to start a new episode right now. Sorry.
Yeah, next time.
All right, friends. We'll see you next week for actually get amped. Next week's going to be a special smorgasbord of shenanigans. So
It's gonna be another disaster on screen.
prepare your loins.
Oh God!
What are you doing? All right, I've had just about enough. The episode. So I stopped recording, but I'm still streaming. The episode was so long that I had to open Logic again and like copy my music loop because we ran past the music loop because we were recording for so long. So thanks a lot, Wes.
You're gonna be pissed. My audio cut out, and I did not realize that.
Mine's good. I gotta pee though. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
Bye.
Okay. Yeah, I think for whatever reason, my audio cut out.
Oh,